Hello, listeners. Hello, listeners. Welcome to the weekend preview episode. I hope you could hear me and you could see me. Let me know in the chat. Just confirm. But I believe we should be good to go. So we're going to try out doing a live stream for the Thursday episodes rather than waiting all the way to drop it for you guys tomorrow. Hey, John Andrea. Good to see you on here. Hope everyone's had a good week. Obviously, football universe, it never stops. So looking forward to all the football coming through this weekend. So yeah, also let me know what you think about our new layouts and trying to just make things as professional as possible in terms of our talking points. That'll be amazing to see. Shout out to everyone who's joined so far. How are we looking? So yeah, for today's episode, as you can see, we're going to be going through the midweek games. There's not been too many midweek games involving our players this week. We've had a couple in the Turkish Cup, which we'll touch on, and also the Copa del Rey. Speaking of the Copa del Rey, Ademola Lookman is currently making his debut for Atletico Madrid. That game just kicked off against Real Betis. Straight to the starting lineup, no time for play. I love that Simeone has already put him inside straight away. Like, look, you're here to be a star player. So come and show us what you could do. So he's lining up with Antoine Griezmann. Both of them are starting up front. And then the usual 4-4-2 by Simeone with his son, Giuliano Simeone on the right wing and Baena on the left wing. Lookman also has his former teammate, Ruggeri, the left back who was at Atalanta, starting the game today. And also his Atalanta teammate, former teammate, goalkeeper Musso, is starting in goal today. So I'll be keeping an eye on that game and just seeing how Ademola is getting on. And just as I've spoken, did this guy score? Oh, bloody hell. Almost scored. Abdi El Zazuli, the Moroccan guy. But yeah, anyway, that's what we're going to be going on quickly. We'll talk about the midweek games review, and then we'll touch about the Carabao Cup games. Obviously, Arsenal, we're into our first final in 6 years. When they say final, they mean non-community shield. I don't like this community shield disrespect. Like when the community shield was doing, when other leagues, when they're counting their super cups, do they have two heads? Why is it that it's in England that we're arrogant about the community shield? But yeah, for objective purposes, it is our first final since August 2020, since the height of the pandemic. So obviously looking forward to that game. So we'll be quickly touching on how that game went. And then very quickly, we'll touch on Nwabali. We got the news today that he's moving to, well, we don't know where he's going yet. But obviously that came as a surprise. So we'll be touching on what Nwabali's options are. It'll be good to even get your views or what you think he could be doing, to be honest, because I'm not 100% sure where he's going to go. And then we'll go straight to the Premier League preview. So all the Premier League preview games involving the Nigerian players. Then we'll preview the other Premier League games. Obviously, this weekend we've got massive games. Man United versus Tottenham at Old Trafford. That's going to be a big game. Also, we've got Liverpool playing Man City at Anfield. Massive game. So we'll touch on that as well. And then we'll do our picks of the week for other Nigerian games. Just to give a sneak peek, of course, we're going to touch about Ako Adams and we're going to touch on Victor Osimhen as well. We'll also touch on Lookman because he's got an interesting fixture this weekend following his match tonight. Funny enough, against the same opponents. And then a quick one on Umar, Sadiq, and then Terry Murphy potentially making his debut for Porto before we round up with the ones to watch. And then finally, for this episode, I'll be announcing the winner of the 10K giveaway. I've used some random websites online to draw the names, and we have the winner of the 10K giveaway. So, without any further ado, let's get cracking. So, what we've seen this midweek in terms of fixtures involving the Nigerian players, main one, as I said, is the Turkish Cup. On Tuesday, we saw Polonachu, Anthony Nwakeme, and Chibike Nwaiwu all play for Trabzonspor in a 3-0 win over Rizespor in the Turkish Cup. This game was 0-0 until the 68th minute. It was quite interesting because the opponents who are in the second division thought they'd scored already to make it 1-0, but VAR disallowed the goal. And it was actually 0-0 until the 68th minute before we saw Anthony Nwakeme actually get the assist for the first goal. If you guys remember Anthony Nwakeme, yes, he only has 2 caps for Nigeria, but he's one of those players that won the title for Trabzonspor in 2022. So he's a bit of a legend over there. Not even a bit, he's a legend over there. That's just the facts. But he went away to get the bag somewhere in the Middle East, and then he came back last season. So now he's not quite a big part player, but he's not starting like an Onachu. But whenever he gets a chance to play, he's still able to do good work. So first one, he just passed the ball to his teammates. That guy blammed the shot straight into the net. And next thing you know, it was 1-0, just like that. And then when you watch some of the Turkish Cup highlights, this is not even the Turkish league. This is the Turkish Cup. That's when you realize like the level of how low the league is, so to speak, in terms of quality. Because when you look at the way they were giving Polonuachu space, I was like, what is going on here? There's no way they should be giving someone of his quality that much space. But next thing you know, they left Polonuachu free for a tap-in. And I was wondering, where are the center backs? Did they even teach them anything about how they need to, go to the side of how they need to track like star players? Someone is almost the top goal scorer in Turkish league, and you're leaving him free to score a goal. And next thing you know, it was 2-0. And then actually, Nwakeme then scored the third goal, which was a fantastic shot straight into the roof of the net. And it was 3-0. The good thing about this match is Nwakeme played. Nwanu also played 90 minutes. Onuachu actually came off the bench to score. So that's because all the goals were scored in the second half. So very, very interesting to see on Tuesday. Just before I get to the other stuff, welcome everybody. Shout out to Jackson Jazz, one of our members. Appreciate you. Good to see you here. John Andrea, thank you for the update on Nwabali. We'll get into that. And shout out to Tolu Arokodare Sowumi. Shout out to you for joining. We'll see where Nwabali ends up, but I'm 99% sure it will not be the MPFL. That one we can say that one with a bit of certainty. And then yesterday on Wednesday, we saw Galatasaray beat Rizespor 3-1 in Turkish Cup. Interesting enough, Osimhen was rested for this game. You can understand with the amount of games they have coming and, bigger fish to fry in the Champions League. So this was a game where they allowed Mauro Icardi, Lucas Torreira, and Co to handle the match. Icardi opened the scoring. Lucas Torreira scored a second goal. Istanbulspor actually scored a really good consolation goal to make it 2-1 before Galatasaray then wrapped up the points to make it 3-1. And then earlier today, we saw Wilfred and Ndidi start for Besiktas in their Turkish Cup game. They drew 1-1 against Kocaelispor. Both goals were penalties. Besiktas had to score a 88th minute equalizer. What I found interesting during my research for these Turkish Cup games is, do you guys know that they basically turned the Turkish Cup into a group stage whole P? Like right now, there's 3 groups, and each group has 8 teams, and they're all going to play 4 games each. I'm telling you. And then the top 2 from each of the 3 groups will then qualify for the quarterfinal, and then the best 2 third-place teams will then qualify for the quarterfinal. The good news is all the teams for our boys, Galatasaray, have already pretty much qualified. Trabzonspor need probably a point in their final game, and they should be fine to make it to the knockout stage, to the quarterfinal. Besiktas are already there as well, alongside Gaziantep. And I can't remember the other 2 teams. But the point is, the Nigerian players are doing what they need to do. And their teams have all progressed in the Turkish Cup. So shout out to them. It will be interesting to see how that one shakes out. But we all know that Osimhen won the Turkish Cup last season for Galatasaray. So I'm sure Galatasaray would like to retain their cup as well as the league. Also, in midweek games that we saw, Copa del Rey action. Omar Sadiq was in action for Valencia. Copa del Rey is already in the quarterfinal stage. So Valencia had a home tie at Mestalla with Athletic Bilbao. This game was so interesting because Omar Sadiq scored an own goal to open the match to make it 1-0 to Athletic Bilbao. And I urge you guys to go and watch the highlights. It was a ridiculous own goal, I'm telling you. Sorry, 1 second. Someone from TikTok said they can't hear me. Why can't you hear me? Give me 1 second, TikTok. Why are they not able to hear me? Select speaker. 1 sec. We'll just check that real quick. Audio mixer. Primary audio. TikTok, still nothing? That is crazy. Microphone, Elgato. Remove this one. Yo. Yo. Hello. No, I know YouTube you can hear me. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out this bloody. What is going on? Okay, they said they can hear. All right, so TikTok is good to go. So hopefully it stays that way. Let me know if there's any issues going forward, TikTok. But it sounds like that's fine. Anyway, back to the schedule. What was I saying? Yeah, Valencia versus Athletic Bilbao. As I said, oh my God, why am I sweating like a Christmas goods? Yeah. Athletic Bilbao got in front by 1-0 because Omar Sadiq actually scored an own goal. But please, I'm telling you, go and watch the own goal. Like, it was a fantastic own goal. Like, defensive corner, you know how it goes with strikers now. And then he was trying to knock the ball away, but he glided a fantastic header straight to the back of the net. And that was it, literally 1-0. But as God will have it, they were able to then score. Literally, Omar Sadiq was able to score an equalizer himself. A bit lucky, the ball just bounced off his leg, and that was literally it. And it was 1-1. And then, unfortunately, in the last, I think literally stoppage time, the Williams brothers combined together to score the final goal to take Athletic Bilbao to yet another semi-final. I believe it's their sixth semi-final in 7 years. So they've joined Barcelona, Real Sociedad, and the winner of Atletico Madrid versus Real Betis will be the fourth team in the Copa del Rey games. At the moment, Atletico Madrid are now 1-0 up. David Hanko, the centre-back, has put them up in the match. So we'll continue to keep our watch for Lookman and how he's getting on that one. Anyway, that's it in terms of the midweek games to cover. And of course, we'll keep you posted on how Lookman is going. One thing I just wanted to clarify quickly, I saw news about George Lenikena's move to Al Ittihad. And I saw an update from the CEO of Monaco. And he actually said that Lennikena was the sacrificial lamb basically because of financial rules with UEFA. So Monaco were about to be in trouble in terms of them making UEFA have their own version of PSR, and they find clubs who go above the payment or whatever it needs to be. So Monaco basically were already in the red, and they had to make Lennikena the sacrificial lamb. So it was Lennikena. We heard from the CEO. He said, "We're now good on this topic with UEFA rules. It was one of the objectives that I had. I had to make the best choice for the organization. It isn't the best decision for me. Does that mean you wanted to keep Lennikena? Yes, certainly," he said. But he said George is a player with a lot of potential. This is why there were 2 or 3 negotiations with him this winter. We're happy to have found a solution for the financial situation. But it's a shame that a young player who has a lot of potential to progress is in this situation and we have to make decisions. So I think it makes me just feel slightly better about Lennikena going there. He's still young enough. He'll probably make generational money for his family. But this is a player that he should start begging NFF if I'm him, rather than wait to talk to anybody from any other area. To be honest with you, like, he needs to just focus on he needs to focus on Super Eagles and see what we can do, because the talented player right there. Anyway, moving on to the Carabao Cup. Everybody knows, or I'd like to think if you watch this podcast regularly, you know that Oloke is an Arsenal fan. Obviously excited for our first final in 6 years. We're favorites for all 4 competitions. I'm not saying we'll win all 4. I know we will not. But it's nice to be in these conversations and to be the favorites. And I'd like us to get back into winning ways. So can we use the Carabao Cup to get ourselves used to winning again? It's all well and good being impressed with how well we've been performing, but we haven't been winning like some of our I guess you could say neighbors, especially Chelsea, who like to mention the Carabao, the Conference League Cup, and all these cups that don't mean anything. But it is what it is. Good to everybody. But in case anybody missed it, of course, Arsenal beat Chelsea by 1-0, courtesy of Killer Kai Havertz scoring a last-minute goal. I won't lie to you, sweet. It made me so happy. Oh my god! Like Chelsea have not beaten Arsenal in like 6 years, by the way. You know. Uh, thanks for that, Elias. Honestly, I don't know what I'm gonna do about this TikTok live, man. Like, it's I'm trying to sort it out, but at the same time, it's giving me too many problems. So I'll see what happens with that one. But I think it may be fine now. But we'll see. I was trying to change my microphone, but honestly, too much wahala. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Let me see if I can save it one more time. Exactly. Everyone remembers the days when Chelsea used to beat us, Abby. Now things have changed. Everybody's crying. Everybody should cry some more. Honestly, they should all cry. Well, honestly, TikTok is disrupting my life, so I've cancelled it. Forgive me. This is all about YouTube. Uh I tried to sorry guys, forgive the intimation. I'm just trying to see if I can cater slightly to another audience, but it's not, it's just giving me grief. I've literally started it again. Okay, maybe it may work now. I think we may be good now. All right, I'll leave it for anybody on TikTok to let me know about the issue. But look, YouTube guys, forgive me. Anyway, back to the regular schedule program. As we said, um, thanks for saying that, John. You remember the days when Arsenal could not beat Chelsea? Now it's the opposite. In fact, to be honest with you, I don't even get concerned when we play Chelsea. Like, I knew that no matter what, there was no way we were going to lose the match. I was that confident, I'm telling you. And when you watch the way the game is, we're already 3-2 up from Stamford Bridge. So the onus is on Chelsea to attack. I could not care less about people saying, "Oh, Arsenal are boring, boring, boring Arsenal," and "Oh, it's so odious to watch." That's not my problem. Do you know what it was? 6 years since your last trophy, so everybody just has to accept it like that. Chelsea decided not to come out. You could say, having watched the Man City Newcastle game, you can understand Rossinior's thinking behind that in a way, because Newcastle decided to go man to man. They're already 2-0 down to Man City. And after 35 minutes, it was 3-0. So they were 5-0 down. So in a way, you can kind of say hindsight is 2020, because Rossinior basically wanted to keep it tight until he had the opportunity to strike. People can say all of a sudden it took too long for him to, strike, so to speak. But ultimately, he has to live and die by his choices as the coach. And unfortunately, it just wasn't to be. I don't really remember Chelsea creating anything, to be honest, of note, or anything that really worried our defense. I thought us also showing respect to the tournament was good. We played almost our starting exile of who could be available. So really, really good to see from Arsenal. And me, I'm just looking forward to the game at Wembley. I'm not sure if I can even get tickets, but to be honest, with Arsenal, I don't even try, because the whole universe is trying to get tickets to watch Arsenal. So it's never easy. I mean, as for Chelsea, John Adrian said Liam Delap, but you're right. Liam Delap, what the hell is that guy? I couldn't believe when they signed Liam Delap and João Pedro and we're doing Smith for Osimhen. That just tells you the way some of these clubs think or the way they even move. Like, it makes no sense to me. Like, there's no way they were thinking Leon Delap was going to be someone that will solve their problems. João Pedro's good, but he's never going to be like so prolific. You know, it's like, that was even a good comparison. Let me not go and use hyperbole now. Do you remember when Chicharito was at Man United and like Berbatov or Rooney or Van Persie or Tevez or Ronaldo will score a lot more of the goals than Chicharito will chip in for the season with his 15? But his 15 will be crucial, including like 6 or 7 of those goals. That's basically what I think João Pedro should be. Like, when you really watch João Pedro, he's never going to be like a number 9 bags man. You know, he's always coming back, trying to play number 10. Whereas if it was Nicholas Jackson who they keep abusing, Jackson would have been finding the pockets, making the runs. Like, literally, there's no way that Palmer wouldn't have been able to find him. But instead, you could see they were just a bit clueless in the match today. So, you know, it is what it is. But really, really happy for Arsenal. We move and we continue our march towards a potential quadruple. Look, do not use this to bash Arsenal fans. Me, I just want the Premier League. Anything else is extra. Everything else is extra. I'm begging you. Wait, John, you loaned Liam Delap. Oh, no, you mean Jackson? Oh, yeah. Look, maybe we'll use those ones for like members only live streams and discuss random stuff, because even me till today is baffling in my mind how you guys could have let someone like Jackson go. You basically made your striker options weaker, you know, but it is what it is. As for Man City Newcastle, as I already said, Marmoush scored the first 2 goals. Tijani Reinders made it 3-0 after 38 minutes. Semenyo looks electric. He already has 4 goals in 5 games for Man City. And look, they just put Newcastle to the sword. But me personally, you guys know me, I like when we humble the small teams. I like how we made, what's their name? Newcastle remember that they're small boys. They're getting too big for their boots, I'm telling you. Like, when you watch the way they talk sometimes, you be like, it's not Newcastle that won 1 trophy in the past 60 years. So I like how Man City just destroyed them and just kept them short. So let them go and face their Champions League game against Carabao and Premier League, and then we'll see what happens. But anyway, I think it's always nice when the best 2 teams in the land end up playing the final. It should be a good game. Arsenal, we don't ever lose at Wembley, just so you people know. I think the last time we lost in Wembley was probably the League Cup final in 2018 against Pep, when we still had Wenger. And we lost 3-0, you know. So it will be interesting to see how this whole works out in that final. I always back my club, but it'll be nice to see us go against Pep again. Pep hasn't won the Carabao in 4 years, so I'm sure it'll be very itchy to get his hands on it, even though he already has so many. So anyway, the finals on March 22nd at Wembley. Looking forward to that. Literally just over 6 weeks away. So really excited for that, and hopefully Arsenal, we can get some silverware. Oh, okay. So earlier today, before we get into the weekend previews, Nwabali announced that he is leaving Chippa United. Remember, Chippa United are the bottom team in the South African PSL. That's where Nwabali has played over the past, I believe it's been the last 3 years. He moved there from the MPFL. But he made a post today saying it was more than a family. To my lovely teammates, their coaches, amazing fans, and great chairman, as I stand here to say farewell, a part of me will always remain with this club. I wish you success and happiness in the season ahead. Thank you and farewell until we meet again. Then we got a statement officially from Chippa United where they released a press release by their chairman, Siviwe Impengezi, and he said, thank you, Stanley Nwabali, even though they misspelled Stanley, which is interesting. In the letter, it says Chippa United confirms that Stanley Nwabali has formally submitted a request to depart the club. After careful consideration, the club has agreed to grant his release. There we go. We would like to sincerely thank Stanley Nwabali for the years of service, commitment, and professionalism he has shown during his time at Chippa United Football Club. His contribution to the club will always be appreciated. The club wishes Stanley every success in the next chapter of his career and all his future endeavors. And this is an interesting one. First of all, we're glad about him playing in the PSL, and we have to admit that since Nwabali became Super Eagles #1, he changed our lives. You know, like, look at the last 2 AFCONs. Prior to that, we always had this weird worry or fear whenever we had a goalkeeper between the sticks for the Super Eagles. Francis Uzo had his time, still shaky. Maduka, yes, he was younger, not yet established in his career. He had the 2021 AFCON about 4 years ago. We all know what happened in Tunisia game. But Nwabali, these last two tournaments, since Enyama, we haven't seen behavior like this. So in the AFCON in Ivory Coast, after the first game where we drew with Equatorial Guinea 1-1, he kept a clean sheet all the way until the semi-final where Mokoena scored that penalty against us. And then he conceded 2 goals in the final. But that means out of that, he kept 4 clean sheets on the way to the final. Fantastic performance. As if that was not enough, we now had this new AFCON. And you guys don't know what happened. First 3 games, yes, we conceded in each game. 1 goal against Tanzania, 2 goals against Tunisia. Uganda, it wasn't even nobody that played, so we can't even count. But I'm telling you guys, there was still an assurance we were seeing from Nwabali that was showing, And then all of a sudden in the knockout stages, we kept a clean sheet in all 4 games. Nwabali did not concede a single goal. In fact, in that penalty shot against Morocco, Nwabali did his job. If his teammates did their own job too, we might be here talking about our 4th AFCON title. Even in the 3rd place game, he still saved 2 penalties from Mamouche as well as Mohamed Salah. So when it comes to Nwabali, he's one player that I'm making an exemption for. I don't care where he plays in his club side. He is the undisputed Super Eagles #1. And we also know about the things we heard about Maduka Okoye's demands to come back to the team. It's like, who the hell do you think you are, man? He's still the biggest brand in Africa. Please don't disrespect us for any reason, So, like Oluwadara Soumi just mentioned, he did submit a transfer request, or can we say a mutual termination request, because he formally requested to depart the club. And the good news is when you're a player that is out of contract, you're allowed to sign for any club outside the transfer window. So Nwabali will have the opportunity to sign for any club wherever in the world, especially now that he's been released from his contract. Now, the problem and where it starts, and I want to know what you guys even think as well, honestly. I just see Jackson say Wembley is our second home. Honestly, that's Arsenal. Honestly. So, guys, I don't even know where to even start with thinking about where Nwabali could go. This is such a weird situation when you have a player who's amazing for his country, but not necessarily amazing for his club side or playing for a club side that befits his status as the Super Eagles #1. And because the transfer window has just ended, and I don't even know if Chippa United were being petty by granting his request literally 2 days after the transfer window was closed. It's like, and they just tried to make it slightly difficult for him to find a new club. Now, I don't even know if he can go to Europe, because I think one thing that goes against Nwabali is his age. Nwabali is already, if I'm not mistaken, he's at least 29, if not 30 already. Yeah, he's 29. He turned 29 in June. So he'll be 30 literally this June. So when you're looking at clubs and how they like to build for the future and the teams that they have, I'm not 100% sure that Nwabali will necessarily get to move to a top 5 league, for example. I'm not sure that's very possible right now. Top 10 leagues, maybe we can extend it there. I don't know. Maybe a club in Belgium, maybe one in Portugal, maybe in the Netherlands. Who knows? Maybe in Turkey, maybe in Czech Republic. I don't know if we'll necessarily complain because we know what Nwabali's pedigree is for the national team is already. But I'm really struggling to think about where he could even go. John Andrea mentioned a rumor about hearing that he may go to Tanzania, which would be interesting. If it's Singida Black Stars, that's interesting because is that not where Amasobasogi is there? I'm pretty sure Amasobasogi is the #1 goalkeeper at Singida Black Stars. So I would like to hope that Tanzania is not the best Nwabali could do. I wouldn't even mind if he goes to one of the best clubs in Egypt or Morocco. At least be the king in Africa. Don't be playing for Chippa United at the bottom. In fact, if not that, then Mamelodi already have Rowan Williams and Oyango. Can you sign for one of the bigger clubs in South Africa? I don't think anybody would even mind. Or maybe Nwabali is his time to chase the bag. I would go to the Middle East personally if I was him. I'm assured of my spot as Nigeria's #1. I've been Nigeria's #1 for 3, give or take 2 years, 2.5 years now. No, 2 years. Pretty much 2 years. They know what I can do. They know I'm established as the #1. And whatever happens, as long as I keep performing for the national team, I should retain my spot. So if I'm Stanley, go and chase the bag. I don't know how much they can pay him at Chippa United. So really and truly, go to Qatar, my bro. Go to Saudi. Go to United Arab Emirates. May go and get this money, man. And then just set yourself up by your family for the next few years and keep playing for the Super Eagles. So if I was to really objectively predict, I can see him going to the Middle East or staying in Africa. Not because he's not good enough, because he's clearly a very good goalkeeper. But does he have the same profile or reputation in Europe yet? No. Maybe if Nigeria went to the World Cup, we could have been having different conversations in the summer, because we already know Nwabali will do work and do well in the World Cup. So it's very interesting to see, man. But that's what I think so far. Maybe one of the clubs in the top 6 to 10 European leagues, but I'm really struggling to just see where he will go so far right now, especially because the transfer window just ended. So most clubs in Europe have already sorted out their teams like they need for, the end of the season. I love this comment by John Andrea. He said, Nwabali is like our Ochoa. That's such a good comparison. And we all know, come that opening day of the World Cup, Mexico versus South Africa on June 17th, Memo Ochoa is going to be lining up in that Mexico lineup. And they will probably pull off 2 or 3 great saves again. So that's such a great comparison, John Andrea. In fact, that's a perfect comparison. Ochoa. Every 4 years, you have people commenting, where did Memo Ochoa come from again? So honestly, that's a good one. Ilya said, I wouldn't be shocked if he also goes to the Middle East. Yeah, exactly, bro. That's why I think it's more likely, because he has to also look out for his family and how much he could make, considering his career, it's only so long. Even if you're a goalkeeper and you have an extended amount of time to play football, we have to admit that even if you say he plays to 35 or 36, Anyway, we wish him all the best, and let's see what happens. I'm sure there will be some announcements in the next few weeks. Although this one I'm always joking about the kind of agents our players have. I'm hoping that Nwabali also has very good agents that can put him in, bring the best proposal to his front and put him in the right places so we can see his career flourish. You should go and speak to Terry Murphy. Go and get a lead project group to come and manage you. I'm telling you, they will do work. Jackson said he should go to the UAE. That's what I'm thinking, my bro. Let him go and collect his money. Honestly, man. Just go and pack your money. Honestly, I think that's the best thing he should do for real. So let's see what happens in terms of starting Nwabali and his career. So that's it in terms of starting Nwabali. Let's see what happens next. And then now to get into the main stuff. Exactly. This is why I did the live stream, guys. You can see that we're always talking. What do you mean it's 3 minutes before we get to the review? Hey, Lookman scored! Oh my God. I have too many tabs open, so I need to try and... Thanks for saying that. Let me go. Quick 30-second break, guys, and let's come and do that. 3-0 up in the quarterfinal after 37 minutes. And Ademola Lookman has opened his account. First goal for Let's Go Madrid in his first start. Big money signing. Let me see the replay of the goal. I'm so excited for him. Okay, Griezmann with the ball. Oh, back heel. Oh, my God. Okay. Griezmann laid off to Lookman. Lookman chopped the defender. Dribbled another defender. And put the ball straight back into the bottom corner. This is original Lookman kind of goals, man. Like, Griezmann passed the ball to Lookman. He's on the left towards the middle of the pitch. Towards the left of the box, he receives the ball. He literally dribbles 3 Real Betis players like he's shaping up to shoot the ball on his right foot. But instead of shooting the ball into the right bottom corner of the post, he shoots it back to the left bottom corner of the post. Oh my God, I'm so gassed. Lookman, get me lit. Star player. This is what we're talking about. Already opened his account. They're 3-0 up away from home, and Betis is not an easy place to go to. Like, that is fantastic news. Thanks so much for letting me know, John. If any other goal happens again, just let me know so I can turn the tabs and go away from the actual stream I'm using. Shout out to you, Jackson, as well. Jackson said, what a statement. Telling Atlanta what they are missing. Atalanta know what they are missing, to be honest. Like, nobody has to tell them. Like, Lookman won them their first trophy in their history. Scored a hat-trick in a Europa League final. Scored 20 goals last season, 17 the season before when he scored the hat-trick in the Europa League final. Like everyone is very aware what they're gonna lose. But what I like is from a settling in perspective, there's nothing like scoring a goal in your first game. It calms the nerves. All of a sudden, there can't be any flop rumors. Nobody can be disturbing you about, oh my God, why did you do that? You know, or wondering why you made certain moves, or wondering if it's the right fit. I think that's the biggest worry, even us as Nigerians had, because we know the way Simeone likes to play, and sometimes it may not necessarily be the best for attackers. But I think that's also capped, because when you look at how many goals Atletico Madrid have scored in each season under Simeone, you have to admit that this is a manager that knows what he's doing. So for him to score in his first, in fact, his first half of football, I'm so excited for him, man. That is fantastic news. In fact, we should do one gunshot for him, or some kind of siren or applause. Let me see what I have for him. Three goals for Lookman. Honestly, what fantastic news, man. Like, that is just brilliant to see. And I love that. In fact, guess what, guys? After this game, Atletico Madrid's next match is literally against Real Betis in La Liga on Sunday. So they're playing Real Betis away now. They're already thrashing them 3-0, and it's the first half. And Lookman is going to get to play against the same team for his La Liga debut on Sunday. But we're going to get into the preview of that. But wow. That has made my day, honestly. Elias said, Lookman, I'm already looking forward to what's ahead for him, honestly. I know that they're playing Club Brugge in the Champions League. Oyedika, better go and warn your teammates. So it's not gonna be easy for you at all. Best believe. So yeah, really looking forward to that one. Anyway, shout out to Lookman. Guys, just keep me posted if Lookman does anything again during the game. But on to the Premier League previews. Yeah, there we go. So as I said, usually if you've been watching this podcast for a long time, you know that we usually had one episode on a Monday where we covered the whole prior week. But after the Congo game, I think in October, we started to introduce these Thursday nights. Well, I was recording them on Thursday nights and releasing them on Friday. But what I realized is because we're releasing them Friday morning, a lot of people are either at work or not seeing things until Friday night. And let's be honest, as someone joked here during AFCON in Lagos, Olu likes to enjoy himself. Me, sometimes I'm out on Friday too. So it's not necessarily the best time. So that's why we've started doing these on Thursday night as a live stream. So just let me know your thoughts. Like I said, whatever you guys say, whatever you want, we'll reiterate. I know we did this 8 p.m. UK time, but I know there was a preference on YouTube post for 7 p.m. UK time, which is 8 p.m. Nigeria time for now. So I may switch the time next week. But just let me know what works best for you. Like I always say, whatever you guys need, that's what we'll deliver. But anyway, so that's what has now led to us doing the weekend previews. And just to remind everybody of the format, we go through and preview every single Premier League game, but we start with the games involving Super Eagles players or Nigerian players. We will then preview the big action games in the Premier League, and then we'll select 5 games each week outside of the Premier League to preview for your listening pleasure so that you can keep your eye out on how other Nigerian players are performing in all their various leagues, both the ones that you're free and both the ones that you're unable to watch. You still want to know about what Nigerian players are doing. Whether it's a league you cover often, I know most Nigerians love La Liga as well. So we know La Liga, Prem will always be watched. But you'll be surprised how little people watch of Serie A or the Bundesliga or Ligue 1, or even worse, the Turkish League or the Belgian League or the Portuguese Super League. Some of us, yes, we're a bit crazy. We like all football. We watch all the European football. We know who's won in each league. But that's not the case for everybody, and we have to respect that, So that's why I'm trying to find ways to introduce also talking on things outside of the Premier League, because we have to cater for our audience, which is you guys. And we know Nigerians, we love Premier League die. Me, self, my love for us now, it first happened in Lagos. Or was it Abuja? To Lagos. Yeah, 2000, when we lost to Galatasaray in the UEFA Cup final. So that's just to explain things out. But of course, if there's more things you want, Serie specific stuff, I watch all the leagues, to be honest. Obviously, Prem the most, but we'll find our best way to watch and always bring you the content that you believe you need to deserve. I also love getting comments from you guys on requests. I saw someone writes that, Olu, you can use this channel to do everything. Like, apart from also doing the weekend reviews, it would be nice to have discussions. He said he was talking to someone who was saying that nobody from the current Nigeria team will make it into the USA 94 squad. Or someone was arguing with him that teams like Colombia or Ecuador could win the AFCON. So if those are kind of topics we like to do, maybe a bit more gisty, we could always do that as under the members only live stream, or we could find other ways to integrate that into the conversation for everybody, not just members, but also subscribers. So just let me know. But good to hear the updates as well. Jackson says we like the live stream anytime we are here. I appreciate that. I also like live streams because I like being able to interact with people. As you can tell me, I'm a people guy. I love human beings. Whether they do you good or do you bad, I'm definitely an extrovert. So I like to meet people and, let's spread the love. Life is hard enough. There's enough things we're all going through, personal lives, both good and bad or whatever it may be. But, football is our joy and our solace, and where we come to find, it gives us dopamine that we cannot explain. I try to explain to some babes sometimes that imagine being able to, the thing you love the most, imagine being able to get dopamine hits every day. Every day, almost every day there's a football match. And football fans, I'm telling you, forget the fact Nigeria is not going to the World Cup. Although I saw a Wobi joke on Super Sports that Nigeria may still go. So even with stuff I heard from NFF media officer, let's see what happens with this Congo stuff. But guys, make no mistake about it. If Nigeria is there or not, I'm going to watch all the World Cup games. And even better, it's over 6 weeks and there's no breaks until after the quarterfinal. Every day there's games on. It will literally be like from 6 p.m. to like 4 a.m. if you're in the UK. But Americans, you guys have nothing to worry about in terms of the World Cup. So anyway, just to talk about that and just let everybody know that I'm always open to whatever conversations are. But let's get into it. John Andrea said Turkish League isn't even on cable TV here. Gotta find ways to watch this game. Ways in brackets. I like that. I understand, my bro. Myself, this Atletico Madrid game I'm watching it through Ways, wink, wink. So we keep it moving. But anyway, to get into the Premier League preview, starting with the league table, for anyone who's living under a rock, Arsenal are top of the Premier League by 6 points. Yes, 53 points accrued so far after 24 games, 16 wins, 5 draws, and 3 losses, and we have exactly 14 games to go to hit the promised land. Man City are 6 points behind us, 47 points after their draw against Tottenham last week, Sunday. And Aston Villa after their shock loss at home to Brentford, even though Brentford had 10 men. By the way, go and see Dango Ouattara's goal if you haven't seen it. Fantastic finish, honestly. I remember Ouattara used to play with Terry Murphy in Lorient alongside Enzo Lefi, Ama Lorient in like 2021. So that's always interesting to see. So Aston Villa, they lost at home. So now they're 1 point behind City. Man United, I know if there's any Man United fans in the chat, I know you guys are excited. To be honest, it was reaching the point where I was beginning to pity Man U. Like, we don't want a Man United that is being pitied. We want our rivals to still be good enough so we can banter you appropriately, if you know what I'm saying. So that was really good to see. This Carrick revival, all of a sudden they won 3 games in a row. They put Man City to the sword. They even beat Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium, our only loss at home, And then subsequently, in fact, they won 4 games. They lost 2 Prem games. Didn't they score last-minute winners, including the last one with Šeško bagging the winner? Even Šeško scoring great goals, man. Like, it must be wonderful with the world of Man United right now. But remember, when Man United fans try and clown Arsenal, now Man United, their trophy is top 4. See how excited they are. They can't win anything. They're out of the FA Cup. They're out of the League Cup. They're not in Europe, and they definitely can't win the league. But see the joy they're getting from potentially finishing 4th. Meanwhile, when it was the other way around, they'll try to make it seem like, oh, you're being ridiculous for celebrating Champions League football. That's why I find it so sinister when people say, oh, if you did not win a trophy or you did not win the league, your season was a failure. Try and tell Nottingham Forest after surviving like relegation last year whether their season was a failure compared to going back to the championship. So anyway, it's all good. Chelsea are 5th, 40 points. Liverpool are 6th, 39 points. I also like the fact that order is being restored. You can see that the big clubs, top 6 is literally the original top 6, with Aston Villa replacing Tottenham. You can even argue with Aston Villa's Champions League trophy and the performances in the past, I guess you could say 30 years. There's a world where Aston Villa should even be taking Tottenham's place, to be honest, because of the way Tottenham are performing in the league. The same way they were joking that Leicester should take Arsenal's place a few years ago. Meanwhile, we're finishing 8th, you disrespectful people. Now, look at the depths Tottenham and Man United have shown us. We've seen top 6 teams finish 17th, 15th in the Premier League, 12th, 14th, and everyone will be acting like it's normal. But when you're the culture club like Arsenal, obviously everyone wants to take shots. But I promise you guys, just let us hold our hand on this Premier League trophy. This world will not contain us. Just know that this London will not contain us. I think the ground will shake. We don't get earthquakes in the UK, but I'm telling you, London, the ground will shake from the parade. So let's get it. Anyway, that's it for the league table. Top scorers, Haaland with 20, but he's not scored in a minute. He got Thiago on 16 goals, already the highest scoring Brazilian player in a single season in Premier League history. I would love to see him get to 20 goals, man. Semenyo, wow, what a signing. 12 goals now. Of course, he scored the majority of that at Brentford. Ugo Ekitike has now got 10 Premier League goals. And you know what's crazy? There's a world where I can see Ekitike get into 20. I love him so much. I can't believe. By the way, guys, for those of you that met my brother during the AFCON, my twin brother is a Liverpool fan. Can you imagine them being Premier League champions at Arsenal's expense? And now I have to watch Hugo Ekitike play for Liverpool. When he's French and he has that same vavavoom regalia. Like, I'm telling you, like, he just feels like he should be playing for Arsenal. Like, he's got the Henry, like, tech, moves. Like, he can make things out of nothing. He's finishing. Literally, the way he moves his body, his speed, he's dribbling. And he makes good decisions. And you can see the confidence growing in him. He's like, Isaac, man, they're going to have to return you back to Newcastle, my boy. Although, to be honest, I can see a world where Liverpool have to count their losses. Yeah. And Arsenal will say, okay, Isaac, we'll sign you for 50 million. But honestly, Ekitike is him. That's the point. And of course, Bruno Fernandes now has 12 assists in the Premier League. I saw some Man United fans getting excited that they could still beat Henry's 20 assist record from 2003, where he scored 23 goals and got 20 assists. And we lost the Premier League title to Man United. Fun fact, that was the first year of my life I got a migraine. I was 10 years old, and I watched Arsenal play Leeds United at Highbury. We needed to win that match to remain in the league race. I think it was 3 games to go. And we lost Leeds United. Ian Hart decided that he was going to become the king of Highbury for one day. And when that Ian Hart freaking dagger hits, I think it was in the last 10 minutes, and it was confirmed Man United have won the title. That was my first real heartbreak. I won't lie to you. After the Galatasaray 20, and immediately after I had a migraine. I'm telling you. So let's see if Fernandes can get 8 more assists. But I'll be honest with you, don't waste your time. Nobody's gonna break Henry's record. But if he does, fair play and kudos to him. So now the games involving Nigerian players, starting with our Nottingham Forest boys, because we're going in chronological order. So if you play fancy football, by the way, me, I'm a seasoned FPL player. In fact, I take FPL more serious than a lot of things in my life. I've been playing it seriously for like 12 years with after I met some English guys when I was living in Australia, and they take it so seriously. In fact, now I'm one of those people. Every year I've got groups, we put our money in, we get the chips in, things are looking up. I think I'm now 100,000th in the world. But the point is, there is Premier League football tomorrow. So if you do your FPL, make sure you do your team now. Don't say you are not warned. I don't want to hear that Ekitike was left on your bench. Check it now. So there's going to be the Leeds United game against Nottingham Forest tomorrow morning. So looking forward to that one. So what's going to happen? Oh, wait, before I get into this, let me just go through the comments. Ilya says, when we win the league, London isn't ready for this celebration, bro. As Pep once said, we will be there. We will be there. Let's just get to like game week 30, then we can start hatching our chickens. Once we play Man City at Etihad, we will be there. Jackson, my fellow gooder, Jackson says that match paid me to the bone. Yeah, man. What, Leeds Abi or the Galatasaray one? Oh yeah, that UEFA final against Barcelona. I try not to think about it in my mind. I was in boarding school, watching it through a window. But don't worry, Jackson. Bad days are coming. I promise you that. Even Arsenal's biggest up knows good times are coming. That's why they're trying to banter us and do all of that I'm talking. But trust me, we all know where we're all going to. So we move. Anyway, Premier League preview, as I said. Shout out to Duaka Charity, who said she joined from the post. Shout out to Emika. Emika, you see the post work. Shout out to you. Thanks for joining as well. Hope you enjoy the show. So, as I said, tomorrow, Leeds United host Nottingham Forest at Ellen Road, 9 p.m. Nigeria time. 8 p.m. in the UK. This is a very finely poised game because Leeds are 16th in the Premier League and Nottingham Forest are 17th. In fact, it's so close between those two teams that they're level on points, they're level on goal difference. The only difference is Leeds have scored 7 more goals and Nottingham Forest have conceded 7 less goals. So something we'll have to give tomorrow at Ellen Road. It's going to be quite interesting because both of them are 6 points ahead of West Ham. So both of them are not yet in squeaky bum time when it comes to relegation. But you would like to think that whoever wins this game will be feeling even more confident about their ability to move up the table. Simply because, even Tottenham, Crystal Palace are all on 29 points. Although their goal difference for Leeds, Nottingham Forest is inferior to both Crystal Palace and Tottenham. What do I think about this game, to be honest? I think Ola Aina will start. We know that one is for sure. By the way, guys, shout out to Ola Aina. Even after his injury and them changing managers, there's a world where he could have lost his spot. But I just love Ola Aina. I think sometimes forget that Ola Aina was almost in the PFA Team of the Year last season. That's how good he was. Like, let's not even cap about him at all. Like, when you look at a player and the way he's bounced back from his injury, he got injured in the South Africa World Cup qualifier after South Africa carried us to that useless pitch. But God is watching them and God will forgive them for putting our player inside that kind of environment. Did his hamstring, was out for 3 months. He's had to watch his teammates go to AFCON, all the vibes. He could not play in any of it. He even designed boots for AFCON. He could not even wear it. It will be hard to wear it for him. But yet, what happened? What then happened? He's come back and he's been starting all their recent games. No issues whatsoever. Putting in good performances as we'd expect. Even last week, he had yet another pretty good game, against Crystal Palace at home. So all I know, I won't like Price somehow changed our lives and he did so well in AFCON. But I'm very excited to have you back. Honestly, you are a pillar of the Super Eagles, and I expect you to start the game. Let's see if Nottingham Forest can get a clean sheet in terms of expectations for the players. But I'll be honest, Leeds United are very good at home. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has 9 Premier League goals for a reason. By the way, I used to be such a DCL fan in 2021. He's a player I liked a lot. There's a time I wanted him at Arsenal. I'm not even going to lie to you. So to see this DCL remontada, and in fact, there's a world where Calvert-Lewin might make the World Cup squad. Who knows, for England? I won't be mad at it. But anyway, the whole point is I do think that this game is going to be a tricky one for both teams. Awoniyi will start on the bench, but let's see if he gets some minutes. He didn't play any minutes in the last game against Crystal Palace. But I do think this game will end 1-1, if I'm being honest. But if a team was going to win, I think it's likely to be Leeds United. They're looking very good under Daniel Farke. So let's see how it goes. My prediction is 1-1 for this game. A few comments. Jackson says Ola is in the wrong club. He should be in the top 6 in the EPL. I know what you mean, my bro. Someone like Tottenham, what are they looking at? Who's their right back? Pedro Porro. It's an interesting one. I know just have another great season, and then we'll see what happens in the summer. Charles says, Lookman scored his goal and contributed to Atletico's second goal. I'm loving his much more. Yes, my friend. Oh, I can see Charles just joined. Yeah, bro, we're just gassing him off literally 10 minutes ago. We even saw the goal ourselves. Shout out to John Andrea for giving me the heads up. If anyone gets again, if he scores again, let me know. John said he will fit Aston Villa well. Oh, that's a good shout, Ooh. Who's their start? Wait, Matty Cash is the left. No, Matty Cash right back. He could definitely start ahead of Matty Cash. That's a good shout. Somewhere like Villa. Yeah, man. Let's see what happens. And then Charles says, that Ola injury affected our chances in the World Cup playoffs. It's a tricky one, bro. Okay, you mean in the playoffs because he couldn't play against Congo. You're right. I think we ended up playing Frederick at right back, right? And then we played Shemi Ajayi at center back. This is what I was trying to tell somebody. Our starting center back pairing should be Frederick and Bassey, because that means Ola Aina can play right back. So many people forgot that Frederick was amazing as a center back in that South Africa game and in at least 4 or 5 of our World Cup qualifier games. Yes, he was also amazing as a right back, but Frederick, I'm telling you, he's an exceptional center back and he should be a center back. So I agree with you about us missing Ola Aina, because if he played in those games against Congo, we know Ola Aina his lungs are ridiculous. He can run for 90 minutes and he's good defensively and attacking wise. So that could have been interesting to see. But hey, I guess we'll never know. And we live to see what happens again some other time. So we'll see what going on. So it's an interesting one. Also, Charles said, I had City wanted Ola last year, but some reason Nah, I don't think that would have been a credible rumor, to be honest. But let's see what happens. Taiwo spoken about Victor Osimhen making a big move. Turkish league has so belittled him. All I'll say, Taiwo, is he's the one that used his hand to sign the contracts. That's my only hiccup against that, because he went there for 1 year alone. He could have decided to say, I'm not going there, but he decided to stay there, So I think he has to live with the consequences of his choices. We know he chose the bag. There's nothing wrong with that. Go and get your coin. We know the kind of poverty he came from, but let's not act here like it's been the best move in terms of his career reputation and in terms of accolades. Like, there's no reason you should be one of the best 5 strikers in the world and you're playing in the Turkish league in your prime. I'm sorry. Even if we say age, give or take, add 3 extra years to his age, he should not be in Turkey. You're too good for that league. That's why I mentioned last week that I don't know if it's a thing about Osimhen wants to be in an environment where he's the top dog and they just praise him anyhow. See the way he was trying to fight with Lookman and throwing a strop as if he's a belittled child in AFCON. So I don't know if there's a world where, like, because all of a sudden Galatasaray are not used to signing stars in their prime. He loves the attention and the fact that he can do no wrong there. Because if he comes to the prime, all of a sudden he has to share the spotlight regardless of the team he goes to. Every top 6 team has big boys in their club. So I don't know if this is me speculating. I'm not saying it's one of those ones. Noble, we saw the Lookman goal. We already spoke about it. That was 10 minutes ago. My space play, all right. Ola Aina is Super Eagles' best right back and left back. I agree. But Onyemechi was excellent at AFCON, and I'm really, really proud of Onyemechi and how far he came during that tournament, and long may it continue. Charles said Frederick and Bassey. Exactly. Who's the Offenheim kid, Charles? Remind me. Vince Osuji, I need to see him play some more games. For me, right now, I'll say Chibike Nwabali, who's at Trabzonspor. He gives me some hope in terms of centre-back pairings going forward. Igor Ugbo as well. Igor Ugbo still only 25. There's also Emmanuel Uchenna at Sparta Prague. And there's another guy, I'm forgetting his name right now. But let me know the Hoffenheim guy when you get a second. No, I can't believe this. Galatasaray management already making complaints over his huge wage. That is so interesting. Why the hell did he do that? That's why I'm telling you guys that I already smelt something dodgy already. Do you guys know that before Osimhen signed for Galatasaray, the highest transfer in the history of the Turkish Super League was 17.5 million euros. And somehow they blew that to 75 million euros just to sign Osimhen. I even read an article in the Atletico about how Galatasaray and Fenerbahce are selling land because of the Turkish lira appreciating in value against the euro. So they are selling land to generate money. It smells funny to me, mate. Then you know the stuff about Erdogan and Fenerbahce and all these big clubs. I had someone thanking the Turkish guy for Kante coming to Fenerbahce. Something just smells off when it comes to Turkey sometimes. But anyway, we'll see what happens in the summer. I don't want to get too distracted from the program. Man United have money, of course. They have money. They better. In fact, Man United is where I would like to see him go, to be honest, right now. Let him go and help the Giants. But can his ego also accept sharing the spotlight with Fernandez, with Cunha, with Mbuemo? I hope so, because him and his African brothers. And thankfully for Man United, the next AFCON is going to be in the summer. So we're not going to hear these rubbish about, oh, you have to miss some AFCON games. And I believe the 2028 version will be in the summer as well. So let's see. This one that is 4 years now, maybe it ends up being a summer thing. But then 2028 is the Euros. So if we're having an AFCON in 2028, it's unlikely to be at the same time as the Euros. Anyway, watch this space and we'll see what happens. But all good. Charles says he had no choice. Liverpool were not so forthcoming. Napoli gave him a deadline. Only got a touch and told him so bad. I disagree. He could have gone to Al Hilal. Let's not mistake the last 2 years. The summer of 2024, he had no choice and he had to go to Galatasaray because the transfer window closed. Last summer, he signed for Galatasaray well before the transfer window closed because they were saying he should make a decision between Al Hilal or Galatasaray. And he chose Galatasaray himself after he won the double. Left to me, he should have said, God bless you. Thank you, Galatasaray. You are not my level, but I appreciate the love you've shown me. Let me go back to the leagues I should be in. But we know that he also doesn't necessarily have an agent at the moment. I think he has intermediaries. I'm just not sure who he has in his corner that's telling him the right things, if I'm being brutally honest. And I mean that with all due respect. We love Osimhen. Let's continue flourishing. Let's continue shining for Nigeria. We love him as a Super Eagles player, but I just don't want to copy and make it seem like, oh, we're all so excited that having to watch him play in Turkey all the time. Like, it makes me so like it's not good enough. I'm sorry, it's just not. And good, the guy makes money, but your legacy. Yes, there's a world where you could be a Galatasaray legend forever, but they have other Galatasaray legends. Yes, you go to Turkey and you will never want for anything, but really, you could end up becoming a legend in a Premier League club. You know, you burnt bridges in Naples, even though they treat you like a god. There's a way you could have left that they could still respect you like Varaskelia. And I can't even believe it because I know what I saw with my eyes in Naples when I went to watch him win that Scudetto. So for that bridge to have been burnt, it's a bit sad. But I think players need to be careful about their legacy as well and what they're going to do post-football. There's a reason certain players can always get a job in certain clubs after their career's done, no matter what, or with the federation. And it's not Nigeria Football Federation are going to get job for those ones that they're holding all the money and they're not paying anybody. It's not like how Ashley Cole can work for like England under 21s now. Do you get what I mean? So it'll be an interesting thing to watch and let's see what happens. Jackson said he should have gone to PSG. Yeah, I remember PSG went for him the year before. But I think there was some conversations about the money and stuff like that. So it's interesting. Taiwo, I just spoke about Eleni Kenna literally like at the beginning of the show. But we got a quote by the CEO of Monaco saying that they had to sell Eleni Kenna for financial reasons and it was their biggest assets. So that's why they let him go to Al Ittihad, even though they didn't want it to happen. But look, he's young enough. If he goes there and does well for the next 2 years and comes back, it's fine. I actually think that he's more likely to play for Super Eagles now and he will never get a French call-up, to be honest. So if I'm him and if I'm NFF, let's start talking to ourselves. Because make no mistake about him, we're playing in Saudi, but he's a player that's played 15 Champions League games. The vast majority of Nigerian players will never play up to 15 Champions League games. That's not even an insult. It's just the facts. Unless you are Lookman, Oyedika, Osimhen, Netantela and Oyemechi don't even play that often. There's only certain amount of players that we have that we know that year in, year out, they should be in the Champions League, you know, especially based on the clubs they're playing for. You know, that's why I'm such a big advocate of our teams playing for the top clubs. I don't even mind if it's in Portugal, Belgium, Netherlands. That's why I like when our players flip for Porto. Murphy and Sanusi, they'll be playing Champions League next year. So let's see what happens. So, but I would like to see us go and tap Eleni Kenna up and let him know that, look, stop waiting for French passport too. Bro, you're 19. Come on, start suiting up for Super Eagles. You and Durosimi and Oban, you can imagine your attacking line is Osimhen and Ako. Then your three backups are Eleni Kenna, Oban, and Durosimi. Don't even think about them now. Think about in a year or two. The way Durosimi's profile is going, the way Oban has found his feet again at Verona, even though they're the worst team in Syria. And when you look at Eleni Kenna's profile, his speed, his pace, you know, his ability on the ball. I'll be honest, we could be smoking teams for a long time, man. Especially the way Eric Shell had us scoring 14 goals in AFCON, you know, and we didn't even score any goals in our last two games. Yes, they disallowed Akko Adams' goal in the third place game, but I'm very excited by our potential, to be honest. You know, I like what John Andrea mentioned about Tochukwu Nadi will be playing in the Champions League too. He won't play this season because Marseille got dumped out after Trubin scored that header for Benfica in their game against Real Madrid. But Marseille should finish in the top three, even though they're currently third. And it looks like it's Lens that are more likely to battle with PSG for the title. And PSG will probably still romp it. But we should see Tochukwu Nadi there next year. But Tochukwu, I just want to see him playing games. Let's just see what happens, you know, and then we'll go from there. Oyewale, yes, we saw Lookman's goal not too long ago. Fantastic. Honestly, get me lit. Charles said, different scenarios. Victor could be the first African player to be sold on 100. I'll be honest, guys, I cannot see this thing happening, man. Like, I don't think people realize the way Osimhen's reputation is seen in England. I live here. Like, they don't respect him the way he should be respected. They know he's a great player. But 100 million for someone that just turned 27, I know the Premier League clubs will be desperate in the summer. Maybe 90 million. Maybe. Because I can see Man United opening the checkbook. Chelsea potentially if they're in Champions League. Even Arsenal, I thought he's our strike. Although I heard we want Alvarez. So I don't know. But the way they were hesitant to drop the money for Osimhen these last two summers has made me wonder if his PR is just really in the mud in the UK. Because when you heard the way some things were saying, Galinica was saying some crazy stuff about Osimhen one time on a podcast that he missed training. He's known to miss training from time to time. After Osimhen now scored against Liverpool, he now backtracked on the rest is football, saying, "No, I apologize to Osimhen for making that statement. It wasn't accurate." You know, so it's interesting, man. Okay, you said $100 million, maybe. We'll see, Sha. We'll see. We'll see. Charles is talking about Parubo. Parubo is on loan somewhere. He's not really pulling up any trees right now. Let him continue. He's an interesting player because he played down at 20 World Cup. He did not score a single goal. I know his talent is there, but we haven't seen anything yet to germinate and to make us excited. It's more the Duro Simis of the world that excite me right now, to be honest. So let's see. Yusuf, Charles, as you said this one, do Barcelona with their broke boy money look like people that can afford $105 million? A chicken is coming to roost without all these Barcelona levers, by the way, but we shall see eventually. Anyway, back to the previews. This is why I like the live stream. We can talk. But Fulham are playing Everton Saturday, 4 p.m. This one at 3 p.m. kickoffs in the UK. Fulham are, of course, high-flying. They're 9th in the league so far. It will be Chukwueze and Bassey, and they're playing Everton, who are 10th. So this is another clash of teams that are looking to make it into Europe. You know, Fulham are only 5 points behind Liverpool, and they're level on points with Everton as well. In fact, Fulham and Everton, just like how Nottingham Forest and Leeds have the exact same performances so far, Fulham and Everton have 34 points each and -1 goal difference each. The difference is Fulham have scored 8 goals more and Everton have conceded 8 goals less. And we know that Fulham are very good at Craven Cottage. You know, they've won 10 games this season already, majority of that being at home. So this is a game where I would expect Fulham to rise it again and put them and do their best to win the game, because they're only also 2 points behind Brentford and Sunderland in 7th and 8th. There's a world where who could make it happen? Okay, Tottenham can't win the Champions League, so let's forget about that. There's a world where the Prem will have 5 teams in the Champions League again. And who are our 2 Europa League representatives? Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest. Let's say Nottingham Forest win the Champions League. I mean, the Europa League. What am I saying? Who does Nottingham Forest? They have 2 Champions Leagues from the past, I know. But can we see, if Nottingham Forest win the Europa League, then we have 6 teams in the Champions League, which means that 7th and 8th will go to Europa League. So in the Prem right now, even finishing 7th, 8th is always a very good badge of honor. So there's a lot to fight for Fulham this season. I think you can see the improvement under Marco Silva year on year, and it's really good to see from the Fulham boys. And long may it continue. This is a game where I really do expect the Fulham boys to win. Iwobi will definitely start. We saw Bassey dropped for the last 2 games after AFCON. That's always an annoying thing I hate, when after AFCON, some players lose their places from their team, even if it's for a few games. Same thing with Awaziem at Nantes. But of course, Bassey, we already know, is best defender in Africa, and he should be playing for one of the top teams. So I feel like Bassey should be starting. He'll probably start on Saturday, but let's see. Chukwueze as well. We know he came off the bench and scored yet again in the last game. Nigerians, please forgive Chukwueze. He's a very, very important player to the way we are seeing in the Premier League. You see, Chukwueze, look at what he's doing at Fulham. By the time season is over, I'm sure they will make it permanent, you know, and then we'll see what goes from there. But there's a world where all 3 of them could start, but we know Cuenca has been starting ahead of Bassey in the last 2 games. So let's see what shakes out. I think this game will end 2-1. I think one of our boys will be involved in a goal. It will be a Chukwueze for sure. And then let's see how things develop going forward. Jackson says Fulham should start putting Bassey in lineup. I'm sure he'll be back in the start lineup soon. John Andrea said, looks like Silva is leaving in summer, though. That's true. If that's the case, then that means he should play. That's the more reason he should play his best centre back and be starting him. Although, do you see that Anderson diagonal for Chukwueze's goal last week? That was sensational stuff, it must be said. Let's see about him starting this week. Someone said on TikTok, no, we can't forgive him. Please forgive him. I was in the stadium myself. Trust me. I know the feeling. I was surrounded by, there were 68,500 people in that stadium. 68,000 were Moroccans. Can you imagine how I was on my own, surrounded by all these Moroccans, and they're jubilating in our faces? And then some people are trying to kiss you or ask you for pictures. But you know that if they didn't win, it would have been, if they didn't win, it would have been the same level. Oh. So if I can forgive Chukwueze, please, I beg you, Ejo, on behalf of his family. Please forgive him, I'm begging you. Like, I'm telling you, if he takes that pen 10 times, he'll score it 9 times. But that atmosphere was different gravy. I'm telling you, man. There was something in the atmosphere. I've never experienced an atmosphere like that. It's like Anfield times 10. I'm telling you guys. So anyway, forgive Chukwueze and let's see how he gets on in the game of the weekend. Now, Arokodare's Wolverhampton are playing Chelsea. I don't think we need to talk too much about this game. Saturday, 4 p.m. Wolverhampton are destined to be relegated. In fact, they're destined to be the worst team in Premier League history unless they find 2 wins in the next 14 games. They only have 1 win. They've lost 18 games and only drawn 5 games. The irony is their win and 2 of those 5 draws have come in the last 5 games, although they've gone back to losing their last 2 games. Now, they host Chelsea at the Molineux. Let's be honest, this should be a routine game for Chelsea. Liam Rossoneri has won every single game since he's been Chelsea's manager, except the 2 games against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. So this is a game where they really should be bouncing back after the loss to Arsenal, and they should be putting Wolverhampton to the sword. Wolverhampton are just playing for pride. I was even surprised they were able to still get Angel Gomez to sign for them, although I'm sure some of these players would have put in relegation clauses. So let's see what happens. I mean, the good thing for Arokodare is because Strand Larsen has now completed his move to Crystal Palace, he should continue to start. His starting spot looks a bit more certain. But they also signed Adam Armstrong. Guys, you guys know Adam Armstrong. He's like, those typical greats in the championship, but shits in the Premier League strikers. Do you remember Ibanks Blake from Wolves? They're all these kind of strikers. I'm telling you, Adam Armstrong is one of the best proponents. Championship, he will duppy the league silly. Every time comes to the Prem, flop. That's why I'm sure he thought, this is my last chance playing the Premier League. Let me just go to Wolves and have a good time for 4 months. I'm coming back to the championship anyway. So Adam Armstrong has left Southampton to sign for Wolverhampton. But I mean, there's a world where he could start over Arokodare, but Arokodare needs to start scoring goals, man. He has only 1 Premier League goal. That one he scored against Arsenal that time. I remember I was abusing him that day and that he cannot score. Only for him to now score as I was okay. It's so funny, man. Mainly I slandered him. He scored immediately. Exactly, like Johnson when he signed for Everton. Exactly. So, anyway, we know that Arokodare is going to play the game on Saturday. But my prediction, Chelsea are going to slap them 4-1, man. Although they need to figure out their whole Palmer situation. It looks like he's not being platformed the best way. And they've not figured out the best way to play Palmer, Joao Pedro, Esteval. But I expect Chelsea to put Wolves to the sword. And then just before I go to comments, just quickly round up the last game involving Nigerian players. Brighton will also be hosting Crystal Palace at the Amex Stadium. This is actually a Sunday 3 p.m. game. So 2 p.m. in the UK, but 3 p.m. in Nigeria. Remember, I always try to keep it in Nigerian time, so we can always respect the motherland and the information that we're drawing. Exactly. Captain Berry said Bamford and he likes. Thank you. That's not a great shout. Although Bamford had a season in the Prem where he was jugging, man. Put like 5 goals, at least 5 to 10 goals. There was one time we even thought Bamford may make it to the England squad. So yeah, but those strikers, you know them very well. There's another guy, Finn Aziz. I think he's at Blackburn right now. We know them very well. But yeah, Brighton are playing Crystal Palace. Remember, for some strange reason, Brighton and Crystal Palace see themselves as huge rivals. It's quite interesting to observe, where you see the way it's called I think it's the M5 or M25 derby, even though Crystal Palace are in South London here. I'm in Lewisham, so they're my nearest Premier League club. But they're beefing Brighton, which is near where I went to boarding school in the UK. So I have a soft spot for Brighton, although when I went to boarding school so long ago that they were probably in League One, if not the Championship. So anyway, this should be an interesting game. This is another game between 2 evenly placed sides. Brighton are actually 13th in the league, while Palace are 15th. So they're only separated by 2 points. Brighton's problem is they draw too many good games. Are you across soup? 10 draws out of 24. 7 wins and 7 losses. Bam. Crystal Palace is not that far off. They've got 8 draws, 7 wins, and 9 losses. So the difference is Brighton have basically drawn 2 more games where Crystal Palace lost, in a nutshell. But this is always a spicy game. It's never the most entertaining derby, to be honest. But I like the way Brighton are beginning to recover. Obviously, Pascal Gross is back. He scored again on the weekend. It was quite emotional to see. And then Crystal Palace, it looks like everything's about to implode. Glasner's confirmed he's leaving. Eze left in the summer. Maguire was sold literally a day before a game, and he's now a Man City. You know, like literally, Mateta was trying to force his way out, but then he failed his medical. So they've signed Jorgen Strand Larsen, but then Mateta is still at the club. And they were trying to sell Nketiah, but Nketiah is still at the club. Like, Crystal Palace fans, I just feel for them because that's my local, to be honest. And I was so happy when they won the FA Cup. But this is just the way things go in the food chain. If you're a great player for one of these teams, you're always going to be smacked up by one of the big boys. So Crystal Palace are just trying to figure things out between now and the end of the season. I hope it doesn't get so bad that they end up in a relegation battle. But Ismail Assar's back from AFCON and he scored a penalty last week. So he should ginger. Christantus Uche, on the other hand, you can tell Glasner doesn't really like him, which is okay, you know. But he's playing a bit more games now, which is good to see. And fantastic to see for him, you know. But these are two teams that have been very inconsistent. Palace, remember, have still not won a game since December 11th when they beat Shelbourne in the Conference League. And Brighton have been quite inconsistent as well, you know. So let's see what happens, you know. I don't even know if they'll make Strand Larsen start straight away. We know they almost signed Dwight McNeil, but then the paperwork wasn't sorted out on time. Anyway, Crystal Palace are a mess right now, but we wish them all the best because I have a soft spot for them. Uche will probably come off the bench in this game. Maybe he got 30 minutes in the last game, so we can hope for a bit more minutes here or there. This is a player, I'm telling you guys, do not judge Christantus Uche by what's happening at his club. This is a solid A1 footballer, I'm telling you. I watched what he did for Getafe last season. He just needs the right manager and the right team that platforms him. He needs to be playing for these teams that play two strikers as well. He is literally the second striker that will do all the work. He's a focal point. He can do so much. He can play as a camp. He can play as a striker. He can play as a central midfielder. And he's physical. He's not just physical. He also has very good technique. You know, and he's a willing player. He will fight from 0 to 100, you know. So let's see what happens. But if I'm being brutally honest, I think Brighton will edge this game 2-1. But as long as Uche plays a few minutes, we'll be happy for him and it will be lovely to see. Few comments before I get through the other Premier League games not involving Nigerian players. Fulham Stan. Oh, wow, Alan, this is so kind of you. Thank you so much. Your presentation and interface is excellent, like a one-man commando. Oh boy, one TV station should be hooking you up permanently. It's all to you guys. It's all thanks to you guys, man. You guys give us the motivation to try to level up the setup, to make sure we get the right equipment, we pay for the right subscriptions. You will not believe the amount of work and the amount of things it takes to integrate these setups so you could see them. But look, it's all for the community. As long as you're happy and it serves the information that you want to see, then we're very, very happy to continue to do this. So I want to say a big thank you to that. For that statement. That is really kind. I just got another update from John that pleasure. Oh my god, look how Lookman is already cooking. Oh my god. See the pass to Griezmann. Oh, Ademola Lookman, you will always be great. One-on-one with the defender. Lookman is to his left. He plays the perfect cushion ball for Griezmann. Griezmann slaps the ball straight to the roof of the net. And Ademola Lookman, number 22, has 1 goal and 1 assist on his debut for Atletico Madrid. Everybody say everything now double. 63 minutes gone, 27 minutes to go. Ademola Lookman with the kind of debut that we wanted. Look, when we don't hate our players, but we want our players playing for the best clubs. And my word, does this give me so much joy. Shout out to everybody. So I appreciate you guys for that statement. Thanks, John Andrea. Please keep letting me know, and I'll keep changing whatever he does someday. So shout out to Ademola. Yeah, man. Shout out to you, Jackson, our members. Like I said, Jackson also as a member from February 18th. So 2 weeks from 13 days from now, we're gonna be starting the members only live streams. So anybody who's taking money out of their pocket to become a member, we'll have members only live streams. 8 p.m. UK time, and we'll talk. It will be a space for us to talk about anything football, whatever any member wants to talk about, any discussion points, or even to help shape up some of the content ideas. So just wanted to let you know because I appreciate you so much and thank you so much for joining. I'm gonna revamp the membership tiers tomorrow and just make it one tier. We'll just call it Super Eagles tier, just for anybody who would love to join as well. Yeah, double, man. Shout out to you for typing that for me. Thank you. It's amazing. Charles says, I can't believe people think a whole Lookman who is technically played in a rugged league will struggle at Atletico. I see what you mean. You know, people always, with any move, there's always a risk. So you can still worry about, you can understand people having slight worries. But like we were saying earlier before you joined, Charles, one of the best things about having such a great debut is how it calms the nerves. It removes the conversation from anything that could cause problems. Nobody's wondering if you're going to be a flop. Even you as a footballer, you calm down because you've already impressed. It's not like a monkey off your back that will be going in your mind for 7 games, or like Arokodare or certain players that it takes a while for them to settle. Look at Christantus Uche. Till today, he still has 1 goal for Palace in the Conference League. And we're still, it's me even trying to mention what he did in Getafe to try to explain how good of a player is. But someone like Lookman, all of a sudden in one day, you've endeared yourselves to the Atletico fans. People in Spain are watching you because we know they all watch the big clubs. You know, also those of us that knew you could make the step up to one of the real giants of Europe, we're very, very pleased to see you do it already and already start shining. And you're playing a team, you've gotten a goal and assist, and you get to play them again on Sunday. Ooh la la, we will be there. We will be what? We will be there. So shout out to you for that comment. And shout out to you, Elias. Honestly, thank God he did not go to Turkey. I'm telling you. I share a very, very similar sentiment. Okay, this may probably be the longest one. But guys, let me know if you like. You know me, I can talk. So 2 hours not a problem. Obviously, we have people that will come and watch the videos after. So maybe it may be a bit too long, whatever. But this is our first live stream on Thursday. So we'll reiterate it going forward. You know, there's sometimes when I was doing the reviews in AFCON, I may just go through all my content, then speak to the listeners and then let people come in. But I kind of like going through the points and then speaking to people's comments, and then at the end, we'll leave time for people to join if they want to give their opinion on the midweek games as well, or just give any comments. But let me know if you want us to keep it shorter, or go through the whole comments, then go through the whole content, then go through the comments, or if you like the style we're using right now. At the end of the day, all 24 of you on here, the ones that have given me your time, and I'm very, very grateful for you guys being here. By the way, if you've not yet liked the video, please, I'm begging you, please like this video, and shout out to our TikTok. TikTok is going crazy. 180 viewers. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. Shout out to TikTok. Exactly what Taiwo was saying. What exactly is Chidera doing in Sevilla? Somebody was telling me that I was being harsh when I said he should not be in AFCON squad because he scored 1 goal against Real Oviedo, who are bottom of the league. But anyway, we move on. Now, the Premier League games not involving our Nigerian players. Very, very simple, this one. We will be starting with the big one on Saturday. There's a big one on Saturday and a big one on Sunday. So we know the first one is Manchester United are hosting Tottenham at Old Trafford in the early kickoff on Saturday. So 1:30 p.m. Nigeria time, 12:30 in the UK. United have won all their 3 games under interim head coach Michael Carrick in the Premier League, as you all know. Tottenham, on the other hand, have been really, really poor. Literally, they're disgracing the top 6. But they got a result against Man City, so we're eternally grateful for our rivals. Thank you, Tottenham. It's an interesting one because even with them getting a result against Man City, they've not won any game in their last 6 in the league, and they're dealing with a lot of injuries as well. But there's also a caveat. You Man United fans, anyone on the chat is a Man United fan. Go and check your record against Tottenham. It's quite interesting. It's like Tottenham have this weird hoodoo over Man City and Man United. So that's what makes me think that there's a world where, Tottenham could spring a surprise, what I'm trying to say. But let's be honest, Man City should really be putting them to the sword. I think United feeling the confidence and playing so well, I expect Man United to win 3-1. I think Tottenham will still score 1 goal, especially now that Solanke is back and he's feeling himself a little bit. He finally remembered that he's a striker that needs to score, But I think Man United, the vibes are looking good, man. And they only have the Premier League to focus on. So I think they'll run to a 3-1 win and consolidate their top 4 spot. Jackson says that game might end in a draw, but score draw. I believe that Frank will do something. It could easily be a score draw, to be fair. But I'm just gonna go for a Man United win. John Andrea, thank you so much for this comment, by the way. Thank you so much, and I appreciate this comment. I'll continue to give a space to everybody. Thanks for you guys. Like I said, this time last year, we had less than 1,000 subscribers It's you guys that have brought us to 11,200. And now we're going to go to the road to 20,000 because you guys have shown me that it's possible when you love the content, and we'll keep providing and keep showing up. And it's all about the community. So thank you so much for that. Also, 4 p.m. game on Saturday, by the way, we'll see Bournemouth host Aston Villa, 4 p.m. Nigeria time, 3 p.m. in the UK. Bournemouth have won 3 of their last 5 games, which is an improvement from their poor form towards the end of 2025. By the way, Krupi Jr., you guys know me. This guy's a footballer. He makes me so happy when I watch him. Aston Villa, on the other hand, we know they were chasing Arsenal, but they somehow lost to a 10-man Brentford last week. But like I said, go and watch the Dango Waitara goal. I'm telling you, it was so sexy. Now, Aston Villa are 7 points behind Arsenal and 5 points ahead of back in form Man United. So Aston Villa need to try and find a way to win this game. And to be honest, a part of me thinks Aston Villa will find a way to win. Because remember, before that Brentford little bubble, they even won at St. James's Park. They keep finding ways to win. So there's a world of me that would not be surprised they win this match 2-1 and continue their title charge potentially. But I really expect in my heart of hearts, though, that this game will end 1-1. It feels like a 1-1 match, to be honest, by all accounts. Simply because Bournemouth have now rediscovered how to score goals, and they're enjoying themselves. Especially with Krupi Jr., you can tell that they've forgotten Semenyo and they're learning how to live without him. So let us see what they're able to do. So my prediction, my heart says 1-1, but I won't be surprised if Villa somehow get the job done by 2-1 away. Now, my beloved Arsenal. Arsenal's playing Sunderland in a 3 p.m. kickoff. By the way, I hate when we have 3 p.m. kickoffs because I don't know if people outside England are aware that they don't show the 3 p.m. games on TV in the country that hosts the Premier League. It's so stupid. We'll now be trying to get dodgy sources and all these kind of things to watch the matches. Thankfully for Arsenal, majority of our games are on TV because obviously big boys Lawa, Gunners Lawa, big boys Lawa, But annoyingly, last week our game was at 3 p.m. And now we have another 3 p.m. game against Sunderland. I know they show them in USA. They show the 3 p.m. games everywhere in the world except the place that actually provides the football. It's so stupid because of some blackout rule from like 1961. And they keep putting us. It's just annoying anyway. So forgive me for venting. It's so annoying. But anyway, we'll find our ways and our sources to watch the match. Arsenal back to winning ways. How we put Leeds to the sword, which was very, 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 very exciting. And we need to continue positive vibes. One thing I love about Arsenal is our ability to compartmentalize a bad result and go again. That Man United result already feels like it was a lifetime ago, and we're moving on to better things. We're now in a Europa League final. I say Europa League, and that will never be our portion again. Champions League only in Jesus' name. Carabao Cup final, and obviously we put Inter Milan to the sword literally after that Man United game already. So we know Champions League, we're looking good. We're gonna play one of is it Olympiacos, Atalanta, Dortmund, or I've forgotten the other team for now. But anyway, the whole point is we're very excited about this, and we faced the Sunderland side that took points from them in the reverse fixture at Stadium of Lights. Remember when we played Sunderland at Stadium of Lights? We're about to win the game 2-1, and then Brian Bobby scored that last-minute header. To be fair, very good goal from him to make it 2-2. That was one of the results that really put a sour taste in my mouth this season, but I wasn't too mad anyway. One thing to also highlight is with a tough game for Man City against Liverpool on Sunday. This is our opportunity to press home our advantage, and we must and we will. I'm 99% sure we'll win this game, to be honest. But Sunderland can be a difficult team on their day. However, they're a team that tends to flourish a lot more when they play at home, So I'm predicting a 2-0 win for Arsenal. I don't know who starts or who will get the goals because Arsenal, it really could be anybody. But how about we get Madueke? Let's get Madueke another goal. Yeah, she's going to be starting for Saka. Shout out to Madueke, man. You're doing all right, man. Shout out Niger boy, So I think it'll be a 2-0 win. It may be more, but Sunderland are also a good side. Go through a few comments before I continue. Captain Berry said, yeah, it sucks. We can't watch 3 p.m. It's so annoying. Exactly, Jackson. Don't worry. I'm pretty sure we're going to get those 3 points. So we must. Jackson, I've heard this their tickets comments, but the demand for tickets is ridiculous across all Premier League teams anyway. So the truth of the matter is just Britain failing to adapt like the rest of the world has again. At the beginning of 2000, England and USA had the same GDP per capita. Now, the poorest states in America, their GDP per capita is bigger than the whole of England. So same way they should be moving on and adapting for the ages. Obviously, they're a bit lucky because outside of England, they let everybody watch all the games. But how can we now be suffering and we're the ones inside the country because they want to protect the pyramid? It's not our fault to decide to have 4 leagues that are all professional. And I still do not see how not allowing us watch Premier League games at 3 p.m. is going to ruin the pyramid. The person as a Plymouth fan is always going to want to watch Plymouth. Anyway, that's never going to change. So I know they're going to change it very soon. I'm telling you, just watch out for that. Anyway, Captain Berry said he's a Sunderland fan. That is crazy. We're not looking like underdogs again, bro. Fair enough. Did you go to university there? Maybe that was what made you decide to. If it's by that, then I have a soft spot for Aston Villa too then. Since I went to university in Birmingham by Aston. But honestly, even though you're not underdogs anymore, Captain Berry, and respect Sunderland, let's be honest, this is a game Arsenal really should be winning. You know, I love this from him. He said, I watched it live. I've not missed any Sunderland game. That's amazing. Also, by the way, Sunderland Till I Die is one of my favorite sports documentary I ever watched. That's where I first heard about Josh Maja. This was in like 2019, like ages ago, man. I'm telling you. In fact, I hope Netflix are shooting a Sunderland Till I Die season 2 this year. Now they're back in the Prem because they deserve it. Honestly, it is too lit, like too good. So Sunderland, we're happy for you guys. You know, if you can get close to Newcastle, that would be amazing to see. But obviously, when you're playing the big boys like us, I think it's gonna be a tricky one for you, mate. John, honestly, I don't get the 3 p.m. rule either. Yes, I know the things they've said before, but I'm just like, they need to scrap that thing. Shout out to Captain Berry, man. He said 3 years he's not missed any Sunderland game. That's amazing. I love that and been watching since League One. To be fair, Sunderland fans are one of the most passionate and I love them. In fact, I remember I was taking my girlfriend at the time for lunch last summer in May. Went to Akara, that Nigerian restaurant in London. And it was the day Sunderland won the championship final. And if you see how happy they were, obviously a lot of them were in the boozer, getting the drinks down, you know. You could tell a few people they did not recognize themselves anymore, you know, just feeling the joy. After like 10 years away from the Prem. But honestly, I feel good about them. I like Sunderland as a team. But unfortunately, Captain Berry, it's not going to be good news for you on Saturday, with all due respect. So 2-0 to Arsenal. Burnley play West Ham 4 p.m. as well on Saturday. Burnley are winless their last 15 league games. West Ham have won 3 games on the bounce in all competitions until they face Chelsea. I know there's a manager who used to be in Italy or Spain who has joined Nuno Espirito Santo's staff as a coach. And basically, a lot of these good performances have coincided with him joining. So it's quite interesting to see like the uptick in form for West Ham. But if West Ham really want to realistically fight Nottingham Forest or Leeds, they're going to have to beat Burnley. That's just the truth. You know, they have to what they have to do. West Ham also undefeated in their last 7 games against Burnley. So that should give them a bit of confidence, especially if you watch Somerville. Have you guys watched Somerville at the moment? He was unbelievable, you know. So I do think West Ham will edge this one by 2-1, and I think they will deserve that. That's how you know we're talking for a play, but we're always prepared. So apologies for the light. To be honest, I feel like my lighting is good normally anyway. But anyway, additional lights. Come on, mate. Don't ruin my flow. All right, there we go. Yeah, so I expect West Ham to win and at least close the gap to 3 points to either Nottingham Forest or Leeds. Or if they get a draw, then there'll be 4 points behind both teams. So looking forward to that game. Saturday, the late kickoff is between Newcastle and Brentford at St. James's Park, 6:30 p.m. Captain Berry, your rivals. By the way, I got the notification that Ademola Lookman is off. Let's give him a clap and a bussa. 79 minutes gone. And for you to make your Ademola, we're very, very proud of you. Thank you so much for the great vibes and the great performances and for having such an outstanding debut. In fact, based on this debut, it's like he has already put a case to be Star Boy of the Week for Monday. Let's be honest. I hope he can just score one more goal on Sunday and then we can make him star boy of the week. Unless someone scores a hat trick. But shout out to Lookman for that. So where was I? Yeah, Newcastle holds Brentford at St. James's Park, Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Newcastle have just won in their last 5 games, and they've lost 3 of those games. They win less than 4 games, basically. And we, of course, know how Man City put them to the sword on Wednesday. Brentford, on the other hand, though, they've won 3 of their last 5 games in all competitions. We know that Brentford usually are a team that only play well at home. But guess what? They beat Aston Villa at Villa Park last week. That was an incredible, monumental result, it must be said. So this is a game that I will not be surprised it ends up being a draw, especially if Igor Thiago can find his shooting boots again or Kevin Schad. But Newcastle are pretty good at St. James's Park, it must be said. And if they want to have any chance of making it back to the Champions League, because they're currently 11th, they're 6 points off Liverpool, who are on 39 points, and 7 points off Chelsea. They need to start winning games. That's just the honest truth. So I can see Newcastle shaving it by 2-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being a score draw as well. And then finally, Liverpool versus Man City. This is the one that's going to get me excited for the weekend. You know why? Because it helps us now. Now, we know for a while, prior to the last 3 years, they kept telling us that this is the Premier League fixture. It was like Wenger and Guardiola. Even though throughout the period of them, one team has 2 titles, while the other one has, is it 7? Wait, Chelsea was the last team to win the Premier League, not named Liverpool or City. And that was Conte, 2017. So 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. 8 titles. One team has 6. The other one has 3. Has 2. And they're telling us the rivalry we should celebrate. At least when it was Wenger and Ferguson, 1-1-4, 1-1-3. Wenger's first full season won it in 98. Man United won it in 99, 2000, 2001. Then we won in 2002 at Old Trafford. Then Man United won it in 03, snatching it from our necks. Then Arsenal went invincible to win 3 times. That's what you call rivalry. One wins 3 times, one wins 4 times. Then Abramovich came to distort the balance of power. But this one, Liverpool fans be glazing their biggest ups that have won 6 titles on their head. It makes no sense to me, man. But anyway, Liverpool, for one day, I'm hoping you don't glaze your ups so you could actually help Arsenal. You have a job to do. You have a top 4 mission. By the way, you finally won your first Premier League game in a minute last week and you won it well. You beat Newcastle 4-1. Ekitike showed that is him. You now have 3 wins in your last 4 games. So I don't want to hear those stories. Yes, City also have 3 wins from their last 4 games in all competitions. But we know they dropped points yet again against Tottenham last week, Sunday. Both teams clearly need a result. Liverpool are chasing top 4. And when you really look at how precarious it is, Liverpool are 2 points off Man United, 1 point off Chelsea. And as we said, we know that the top 5 in the Prem are going to make the Champions League. Premier League's coefficient is already too high for the Premier League not to make one of those spots, especially after the conclusion of the group stages of all the tournaments. All English clubs are still in Europe, whereas La Liga, Villarreal dropped out, Atletico Bilbao dropped out already. Every other league has seen somebody drop out. So based on the coefficients and the fact that 5 of the 6 Premier League teams are already in the round of 16, we can already as well just say Premier League top 5 are going to make it to the Premier League. To the Champions League. So Liverpool, you do not want to lose any momentum at all. You don't, especially because Man United are likely to win this weekend and Chelsea are likely to win this weekend. Man City, on the other hand, they cannot afford to lose any more points to Arsenal. Because what they want to do is when they play us in, I think, 6 or 7 games time, you want to be within 3 points or 6 points so that game can matter. But if they lose on Sunday and they're 9 points behind us because we've beaten Sunderland, I would love it. In fact, let me not try and pretend like that's not what I want. That's what I want. But of course, I'm just trying to be honest about what they need to do in terms of this game. Now, this one's a tricky one. We could easily see it end up being a draw. But my guts and my heart, for once, I'm going to be backing my brother's team. I need Liverpool. You never walk alone. You never walk alone. Yes. Please. Oh, Lord. Liverpool, it's time. I don't want to hear stories, please. Get the job done. Thank you. I'll see you at the parade. Also, all the London Reds, both London Liverpool fans and London Man United fans, you're all welcome to join the Arsenal parade in London, which will probably take place after the Champions League final because we may have to play Champions League. Anyway, between the end of May and early June, just before the World Cup, I'll see some of you guys on there. So my prediction is a 2-1 win for Liverpool, and they need to get me what? Get me lit, honestly. Let's get it. So that's it in terms of the Premier League games, and we're very excited to see what happens in the game. Just a few more comments I've seen. Been watching. Jackson said, I hope we keep a clean sheet. I hope so too. I mean, honestly, Arteta has introduced us to a vibe that we're maintaining and enjoying. But when do we become this team that like to glaze ourselves on clean sheets? How can we have 20 clean sheets already this season? That is insane. All competitions, 20. Literally, David Raya needs like 2 clean sheets to break his clean sheet record from last season. That's how exceptional we've been in the league. So long may it continue. Thanks for the feedback, Jackson, about the mic as well. Ibukun, I'll be honest with you, the Osimhen thing is nothing about being black. If you are a black player and you are a superstar, they will find a way to bring you to this Premier League. Football is one of the most meritocratic sports, especially as a player. We can talk about coaching and administration and the problems there. But objectively, if you ball, they will bring you. And we know he can ball. So that lets me know that there's something, it needs the right agents and the right PR machine. Football players, their brands are too big to not have the right support system. My normal day job, I work in advertising. I know how much resources we dedicate to brands in London, where just to run activations, paid search, organic SEO, paid social advertising, TV campaigns, billboard campaigns, out of home. When you're a player with a brand that big, you need the right people doing the work for you. You need a PR team. That's how you end up in GQ and in the right places to shape the narrative around who you are as a person. But if people are not, I don't want to use the word educated enough to not know the kind of things they need to do, then you can't really help someone that cannot help themselves, if you know what I mean. And I just think there's something you're seeing wrong there. Look, we know Lookman could have ended up in Fenerbahce, but he waited and he chose the one that paid him less money to go to Atletico. And now when it comes to legacy or thinking about his career, he's already up and running. We're not worrying. Now, Osimhen has gone to go and take wages that of an astronomical level that nobody, and we know in Turkey their tax is much lax. Yes, he's entitled to get as much money as he wants, but just accept the consequence of your actions. I don't want to hear in 10 years' time that we're now debating Osimhen and people are trying to say we cannot put drawback because he not play. He went to Galatasaray in his prime. That has to be a drawback, whether you like it or not. And whether I like it or not, Atletico Madrid, if they play Galatasaray football match right now, they will spank the life out of Galatasaray. Osimhen cannot do it by himself, and he needs to learn. He needs to learn these things. It's all well and good Galatasaray doing well, but would they beat Juventus? It's unlikely. If they beat Galatasaray, would they beat who they will jam next? You know? So it's nothing about him being black, but there's a way you have to shape your career and the narrative. Jude Bellingham, have you seen the kind of things Bellingham does? Have you seen the PR machine? Yes, we want players to be authentic and we still want to see them for who they are. But there's a reason why there's so much money. It's a football ecosystem. You matter too much. How can Victor Osimhen have been available in the summer and only Al Hilal and Chelsea and Galatasaray bid for him? That tells me there's either some kind of misinformation going on because it's not based on talent, or someone is not feeding the right stories to the right clubs. Because how can Lineker come and say that rubbish about him missing training? And we know this is a player that is very dedicated to his craft. I want to be very honest. Osimhen is very dedicated to his craft like we don't see from a lot of players. But when it comes to that decision-making, building your PR, being your brand, thank God he has the money points deal in Nigeria now. But there's no reason Osimhen should not be one of the top players sponsored by Adidas or Nike. Do you see him in any Adidas or Nike adverts? I don't. I don't know who's his boot sponsor. He should be plastered over Nigeria. Do we see him plastered over Nigeria? But that's what happens when you go to Turkey, because the average Nigerian, yes, we watch you because you're Osimhen. But with all due respect, I just had to mention the fact that Galatasaray played Istanbulspor. These are not the kind of convos we want to be having, especially because we know your talents. If you were not as good as who you are, we will not be complaining that you're playing for Galatasaray. It's a big club, but you have potential to play for all the best teams. So Ibukun is nothing about his me. If anybody who knows me in my personal life, I don't joke with racism issues. I'm a very pro Nigerian British man. And I don't even like people that are ignorant about political issues or things that are happening in like society. So me, I always call out racism when I see it. But him not being in England or saying England clubs don't want him because he's black is a lie. That was a big lie. That one's not possible. Law Barry said Brentford win. I like this. You're a real Sunderland fan. Good to see it, man. Jackson says I want to draw there. I'm guessing you mean Liverpool City. I hope Liverpool win, to be honest. John Andrea says Serie A La Liga really need to step up their leagues, especially in their performances in Europe. How can there be 8 teams that qualified in the top 8 of the Champions League? 5 are Premier League teams. One is Bayern Munich, one is Barcelona, one is Sporting Lisbon. Then you now see one off from La Liga that their CEO come and complain that Premier League money is too much. Is that fault your teams are not performing? Villarreal, Athletic Bilbao, what happened to you? Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid are literally playing knockouts path playoffs because they didn't do what they needed to do. Don't even get me started on Serie A and Napoli. Antonio Conte and his European record. Oh my God, what a disaster. And yet again, they bowed out as well. Shout out to you first, Note, for this amazing feedback. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I'm glad you enjoyed it. Exactly, John, man. They need to come and match us. And the reason why I don't like when people try and blame Prem for the money is there was a time Premier League was not the money machine. It became the money machine. We all know in the 90s that it was all about La Liga or Serie A, where Ronaldo was playing for Inter Milan and Serie A was like the talk of the town. They even used to show Golazzo show on Channel 4 in the UK. But the Prem built this brick by brick. And do you think if you keep on platforming a whole league and saying it's only Real Madrid and Barcelona, and you give over 60% of the TV revenue to those two teams, how will your league improve? The Tebas now come and complain. Meanwhile, in Premier League, the TV money that Burnley will make this season is more than the TV money Atletico Madrid will make from La Liga. That's just to tell you the gap. Then they will not complain. Us, is it our fault that we give equitable distribution? We're not that greedy, even though they claim we're greedy. We give every Prem team almost equal money. Obviously, there's still differences in terms of where you finish in your positioning and stuff. But if you finish bottom of the Prem, you still get almost 90 million pounds. TV money. Come on. So La Liga, like John just said, Tebas is blaming piracy. He's now blaming himself. Thank you. Guys, when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, we used to watch La Liga in Nigeria. We used to watch Villarreal. Johan Roman Riquelme will be playing for Villarreal. Diego Forlan will be playing for Villarreal. Valencia had David Silva, David Villa, Baraja, Albeda, Curo Torres, Canizares. We used to watch Atletico Madrid. Real Betis, one time, they even signed Danielson for a world record transfer fee. I even remember when we used to watch Deportivo La Coruña with Calderon, Roy Mackay. Their league was popping. Now you turn it to Real Madrid versus Barcelona as the only thing to promote. They are going to go and play your games in Saudi Arabia for Super Cup. They want to complain that our league is not where it needs to be. Look at Villarreal and Athletic Bilbao that made Champions League. Look at the nonsense they delivered for you guys. So La Liga and Co, man, they should keep crying because honestly, they only have themselves to blame. Do you think Premier League clubs, big boys, we don't want to be like Real Madrid or Barcelona? But we still love the equitable nature of our league compared to, Real Madrid and Barcelona. Guys, let me not lie, especially in England, it's hard to watch La Liga. Thank God for Lookman. He might be the one that will make me resubscribe to Premier Sports. I had to cancel my Premier Sports subscription the day Messi left La Liga because it's too much money. We pay for BT Sports, we pay for Sky Sports. And me, I would rather avoid the lag when I can. So I was always praying to God that will give us money that we can pay for Sky. But that extra money to watch La Liga, it's not worth it. Now that Lookman is there, maybe. But, we already spoke about finding other sources to watch these games. So we'll use those sources. So they can complain all they like, but that's not my problem. Prem teams keep flourishing, man. We go again. And we take it from there. So shout out to that. Captain Barry says Osimhen's PR is dull. I think that's almost, I wouldn't use as harsh a word, but I know what you mean. His PR is nowhere near what it should be for the things he's achieved in his career. At all. So he needs to sort this out. Even this PR stuff about his ego. We all want star players to have egos, but channel it the right way. Does anybody think Mbappe does not think he's the shit and urine? Does anybody think that Vinicius does not think he's the best player in Real Madrid? But you find a way to exist with great players too. You are warning Lookman doing like this in a match. Who the hell do you think you are? We have to be honest, man. Like, that means he's not still aware that, well, you and Lookman are both African footballer of the year. Yes, you have a Scudetto title from Napoli. Nobody can take that away from you. But Lookman has a European title, and you don't have, and you can't take it away from him. And he scored a hat trick in the final. You guys are equal. I think because I've been overpraising Osimhen and saying he's the star player of Nigeria, sometimes it makes us forget that. Look, there are a lot of star players in Super Eagles, and Lookman packed that thing. African Footballer of the Year. Before Osimhen and Lookman won it, we never saw a player. Literally, the last time we saw a Nigerian player win African Footballer of the Year was 1999. Was it Kanu or Amunike or Ikpeba? I think it was Ikpeba. Can you imagine? So whatever it is that caused that kind of friction, I hope it's sorted, because we really have some issues around Osimhen and just sorting out his PR, because Lookman clearly has better. I like this statement from Jackson. Exactly. Yeah, he was one of the best midfielders in his prime, and he played for the best club. He's a black man. In England, if you play football, they will sign you up. There's no doubt about that one. As far as you can deliver. Victor is available even when Arsenal was looking for a strike. This is why I said PR. Because it really baffled me that all the top Prem teams were not after him. Because I watch him every week, and I know how well he plays. But when you've fallen out with De Laurentiis, it's just too much. Then agents, I've said before, Osimhen should be signed to ICC or George Mendez's agency. Guess you, the best agencies, that's who he needs to be. But this one where he has intermediary. Don't go, I better go and sign a better agent that will take your career when he needs to go. This one where in. But we move anyway. La Liga needs to step up. I'm telling you. Exactly, Jackson. If Real Madrid and Barcelona are not playing no more, it's a nice show. Exactly, Tunde. We've been talking about Lookman and his amazing performance all through the stream. We're almost at 2 hours, but let me quickly just round up the pod with the picks for the other games, the ones to watch, the 10K giveaway, and then I'll go through comments. And if anybody wants to also jump on the live, we'll do that quickly, and we'll aim to round up in the next maybe 10 minutes, because it's been going for almost 2 hours. But I'm glad that people like this format and the fact that we're talking and we could be interactive. I love it too, to be honest. It's definitely my preference. It feels like a two-way street rather than just talking into a mic by yourself. So, anyway, the other games not including Premier League, the non-Premier League games involving Nigerian players. So our picks of the week. Our picks of the week this week are coming from 5 leagues. So first off, I'm gonna do 2 on La Liga, Sevilla because of Akko Adams and Ejuke. Then we'll quickly double down on Lookman. We already know what he's done tonight, but obviously they've got another game against Real Betis literally on Sunday. Then actually we're gonna do 3 La Liga this week. Then we'll talk about Omar Sadiq's Valencia game because they're playing Real Madrid this weekend on Sunday. So we'll keep the other leagues heavy on La Liga this week. And then we'll do 1 on Porto because they've got top of the league clash against Sporting Lisbon. And it's also potentially Terry Murphy's debut since he signed for Porto last week. And then finally, we'll finish with Victor Osimhen's game for Galatasaray in the Turkish Super League. So, La Liga way, we might as well start with the man of the moment, Adebola. Look, we already saw. In fact, I love this comment from Olive DK Ocha, who says, Lookman had 1 pre-assist, 1 assist, and 1 goal. Thank you for adding the pre-assist there. As we know, Atletico Madrid have literally just put Real Betis to the absolute sword, thrashing them by 5-0 in the Copa del Rey quarterfinal. David Hanko opened the scoring in the 12th minute. Giuliano Simeone's son, made it 2-0 in the 30th minute. We then saw Lookman get his first goal for Atletico Madrid with a fantastic finish down to the bottom left corner in the 37th minute. So he even scored in the first half. We then saw him create a fantastic assist for Antoine Griezmann to make it 4-0. And then Football Manager sensation Thiago Almada, if you know, you know, wrapped up the points by scoring the 5th goal in the 83rd minute. Not points, sorry, to wrap up the win to make it 5-0. And Atletico Madrid are now through to the Copa del Rey semi-final, where they will join Barcelona, Athletic Bilbao, and Real Sociedad. So very, very big well done to Lookman. As if that goodness was not enough, he gets to play the same opponents. He gets to play the same opponents on Sunday. Imagine you're a Real Betis fan. You just want your team lose 5-0 at home to Atletico Madrid. And now you have to go to their stadium, to the Wanda Metropolitano, to play this same team that just smashed you 5-0 3 this time. For one, I'm looking forward to it. To let you know how impressive this win was, Real Betis are not small boys in La Liga, by the way. They're 5th in the league. If I'm not mistaken, they played in the Europa League this year. They played in the Conference League final last year where they lost to Chelsea. And they've been bubbling between the top 6 and top 7 in La Liga for the past 3 years. So it's quite interesting to witness. This is why I hope guys listen. You see how Olive said, try bring people on live to have at least 1 minute. If you heard what I literally just said 1 minute ago, I said I will round up the end of the podcast and then I will share the live stream and I'll go to the comments. And if anybody wants to give their take, they can happily give their take. I'm pretty sure that's what I said. So please listen and just be patient. God bless you. Thank you so much. We still have a show structure to get on. Anyway, sorry, that put me off my flow. Anyway, Atletico Madrid, as I said, they sit 3rd in the league. So now they need to look at what they need to do for their club in La Liga. They sit 3rd. They're 10 points behind Barcelona, but they're also 10 points ahead of Real Betis. It looks like they're going to have that sweet spot of 3rd yet again for this season. But, of course, we know that after they've thrashed Betis 5-0, they'll be looking to get as close to Real Madrid and Barcelona as much as possible. Whatever happens, it looks like it'll be a stretch to claw back 10 points, but do your best and see where you end up at anyway, So let's see what the boys can do in this game. But I'm sure they'll be feeling very, very confident. Lookman has literally started his first game with Griezmann. 1 goal, 1 assist, and like Olive said, 1 pre-assist. So what are my expectations for Lookman for this game? Can you score on your La Liga debut? You've literally just beaten this team and scored and assisted against them. So I expect Lookman to start. There is a world where Soloth will be brought in to start ahead of Griezmann. But I'll be very surprised after today if Lookman does not start for sure. He may start with Griezmann. He may start with Soloth. We'll see. Oh, actually, Alvarez is still there now. How could I forget the main man? Alvarez will probably start with Lookman. Let's see. Although maybe he may play Soloth and Alvarez and then bring Lookman on. But I think Lookman, with such an amazing performance on your debut, he really has warranted a start in that game. So my predictions for this is very simple. I even put 3-1 Atletico Madrid here, but this one, they beat them 5-0. Let's just say 3-0, yeah, and call it a day. Other game in La Liga taking place, we'll also see Omar Sadiq's Valencia host Real Madrid at the Mestalla. Now, Valencia, we know they've been struggling over the past 5-10 years, even though they're one of the traditional giants. In fact, the first season I ever watched football properly, like a whole season, 2001, I watched Valencia play the Champions League final. That must feel like a lifetime ago. That's how good Valencia were. I'm telling you, they were amazing. Oh, man, they're amazing. Canizares, the goalkeeper with his bleach hair. John Carew. A lot of people think John Carew from Aston Villa. Trust me, go and watch the tapes of John Carew in Valencia. Kelly Gonzalez, Albelda, Baraja. Bro, they used to dumpy teams, man. Roberto Ayala. Oh, man. So to see where Valencia are now is a bit sad, but obviously they're a very, very historic club, and I hope that they can get to better times. I know they hate their owner, Peter Lim. Apparently, he's a disgrace of an owner, which is sad to see. But anyway, they play Real Madrid, who are second. Of course, they're 14 places above Valencia in the league. Valencia need a win as they're only 1 point ahead of Rayo Vallecano, who are in the relegation zone. And Real Madrid, of course, need to stay as close to Barcelona as possible. The good thing about this game is because we saw Omar Sadiq score in the Copa del Rey game on Wednesday, even though he also scored an own goal. There's a world where he may start, but I know it's tricky because Hugo Duro also starts for them in Valencia. Whatever happens, he'll play significant minutes. At least 45. I don't know if he'll start or be on the bench. And I hope he can score in this match. But if I'm being brutally honest, Real Madrid should be getting the win, even if it's 2-1. A lot of games Real Madrid have played in recent times in La Liga, even if they're drawing, they always find a way at the end to win the match or make a routine 2-0 win in the last 20 minutes. So I expect that to continue in this game. Now, Ejuke and Ako Adams, revelation of AFCON. Revelation of AFCON. Ako Adams Sevilla will be playing Girona on Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Nigeria time. Sevilla, of course, dropped to 15th after they got thrashed by Real Mallorca 4-1 on Monday. Remember, they got thrashed as we were doing the live stream. Honestly, they were shocking. Wow, it was so bad. Aquadams also missed a good one-on-one when I watched the highlights again. But anyway, they're only 2 points above the relegation zone, and they're desperately in need of a win against Girona this weekend. Now, the good news for them is Girona, remember, since Ter Stegen came in, for some reason, it's been going wrong. In fact, Girona have been playing so badly that they lost to Real Oviedo, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. So, we know Aquadams will start this game, and we know HK will come off the bench. That one is sure. That one will never change. But can Aquadams get back to goal scoring ways? We know that we want him to get to double figures, and he's on 6 at the moment. So I'm hoping that because it's Girona, we can see Sevilla finally get a home win in this game and win it by 2-1, with Aquadams at least getting a goal. Dolph on TikTok, I can see your question about Nwabali. He basically requested a contract termination, mutual termination, and they agreed to mutually terminate his contract. And now he will become a free agent and will be able to sign for any club that he wants in Europe. I can't be asked to the lights again, but I think you can still see me well, which means my backlights are doing what they need to do. So that's exactly what happened, Dolph. So we'll see where he ends up moving to. From our discussion, we think he's more likely to end up in the Middle East because he needs to chase the bag. But we hope we could see him in Europe at some point. So that was the conversation we had. Now, quickly before I finalize, FC Porto versus Sporting Lisbon. Now, in case anyone has not been following the Portuguese league, Porto are back to winning ways. What did I say? Porto are back to winning ways. Now, why did I make such a statement? We all know that Porto usually dominates Liga Portugal. You know, they won it in 2021, 2022, 2023. But in the last 2 seasons, in 2024 and 2025, obviously one of those was Ruben Amorim, and the other one, Ruben Amorim started as the coach in the league title that they won last year. Sporting Lisbon have basically won the Portuguese title in the last 2 years, and it's the first time they won it since the early 2000s. That's how impressive it's been. Or at least I think they've won it 3 times in the past 7 years, because I remember there was 1 year Pedro Goncalves scored a winning goal for them. But anyway, the point here is Porto are now back to winning ways. Last season, they finished a whopping 3rd, which for Porto is a disgrace. It's like Galatasaray finishing 3rd in their league. They were even 11 points behind Sporting Lisbon. But this year, since Francesco Farioli has moved as to become Porto's manager from Ajax, they've played 20 games in the league. They've won 18. They've drawn only 1, and they've lost only 1. They've only conceded 6 goals in the entire league in 20 games, and they've scored 41 goals. So their goal difference is plus 35. Ironically, it's not even the best goal difference in the league because Sporting Lisbon's goal difference, why is it plus 51? Plus 43? Like, what are we looking at? 54 goals scored, 11 goals conceded. Anyway, basically, the big 3 are being the big 3. But the good news is Porto look like they're on course to win the league. They have a 4-point lead over Sporting Lisbon, who they're going to play this weekend. And they have a whopping 9-point lead over Benfica, which is what led to Benfica sacking their former manager and hiring Jose Mourinho. So, Porto have an opportunity to go 7 points ahead. And we all know that in the Portuguese league, if you're 7 points ahead, the title is done. It's literally done. Nothing can happen again. So they have the opportunity to go 9 points ahead in the game against Sporting Lisbon. Now, we know the Portuguese league, they love to play a game on Monday. So this game is going to be played Monday nights, 9:45 p.m. You know, would we see Terry Murphy make his debut? That's hopefully what I want to see. I would also love to see Zelusani somehow fight his way back into the squad. At the moment, Ricardo Moura, the left back, has been starting ahead of him, which has not been good to see. But can we see Murphy start the game? It's probably unlikely because Samuel Gewa is not doing too badly. But I would expect Murphy to at least get some form of minutes, even if it's just the final 30 or 20. And I'm hoping that him, like Lookman, too, can have an exceptional debut for his new club on Monday night. My prediction, Porto at the home side, they've literally won 18 out of 20 games. They will beat Sporting Lisbon. Yes, Sporting Lisbon are amazing, and they've done amazingly well to finish in the top 8 of the Champions League. There's a world this could end up being a draw, but I think it's more likely that it would end up in a 2-1 victory for the Portuguese leaders, Porto. And hopefully Murphy will do the work of scoring the goal. And then finally, the last game's preview outside the Premier League for your listening pleasure. Galatasaray hosts Rizespor. Rizespor are currently 12th in the league. They have a Nigerian player called Ibrahim Ola Aina. I think he has 1 or 2 cards for Nigeria from when we used to play. Like, we'll send our Chan boys to play or go and play those friendlies in USA where we'll go and lose 4-0 to Mexico. Ahmad, you got to forgive you, Sha, but it's all good. So, Galatasaray, we know they've won their last 2 games in the league since Osimhen returned from AFCON. Obviously, he was rested on Wednesday night because you have to rest your star players. Ikari could handle the job by himself. They're only 3 points ahead of Fenerbahce, though. So there's a lot to play for in the Turkish league this season. And they need to win this game to keep the gap or at least extend it because Fenerbahce are also not relenting. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the end of this game. Osimhen will definitely start. He has 3 goals and assists in his last 2 league games, so we expect a comfortable win, especially because Rizespor are not the best team. This is what I'm also saying about this Turkish league. Osimhen literally should be winning every single match unless he plays Fenerbahce, Trabzonspor, or Besiktas, home and away. You know. So what do we think? Galatasaray should win this game by at least 3-1, and I would expect Osimhen needs to start scoring goals, man. Like, yes, we're doing it Champions League, but you can't be 7 goals behind double scoring Turkish league. And it's you that they are paying. Maybe if they combine the wages of everybody in Turkey together, I'm sure Osimhen alone is like 5% of the entire league's budget. So, bro, you gotta deliver as a star player. I'm sorry. So let's see what Osimhen can do in that game, and that'll be 3 p.m. on Sunday night. Now, the ones to watch for this week before we get into the comments and the leaks, I've also shared the stream link for people to join if you want to come and give your take on the weekend preview, any of the topics we've discussed. But just to end while that is on, the ones to watch for this week. So as I said, there's football from Friday tomorrow. So remember, if you play FPL or you like the Premier League, make sure that you do your team before the deadline tomorrow. Make sure you do your team. So tomorrow at 8:45 p.m. Nigeria time, we will see Gift Urban's Verona. 7 league goals so far, as I said, and want to really watch. I would not be surprised if he even scores because they need to win from somewhere. So Verona are currently 20th in Syria, and they're going to be playing Pisa, who are 19th in Syria. You know, Urban, I should have previewed this match, actually. Forgive me. But Rafael Durosimi has 1 goal and 1 assist in his first 3 games for Pisa, his new club. And Akisomiro, who was benched, is coming from AFCON, but I'm sure he will regain his starting spot in the team sooner rather than later. Now, this is a very, very big game for both of those teams, and whoever wins this match will be feeling much more likely to starve off relegation. And whoever loses this game, they might as well just count their chickens till they go. You know, I think this is a great game for us because Urban and Durosimi in particular both have serious potential to score goals. And I think Durosimi, even though he left Victoria Pilsen, but he already scored over 10 goals this season, I like the move because he's playing in Syria between January and May. And he also scored on his debut, remember. So if you can even get close to just give me 7 Syria goals, we'll figure out the rest for you. And I hope there's been some kind of close because if Pisa gets relegated, you need to stay in Syria and move to a better club. So I'm hoping that'll be the case, and we'll see that happen. But this should be an interesting game. Now I'm hoping Akisomero will be back in the starting lineup. So that's 8:45 p.m. on Friday. As we already previewed, 9 p.m. Nigeria time, we'll see Leeds United host Nottingham Forest at Elland Road. So look out for that game. And then on Saturday, a lot of Premier League games. The Fulham boys will be hosting Everton at Craven Cottage at 4 p.m. We'll see Tolu Arokodare's Wolves also play Chelsea 4 p.m. as well. We will see the Sevilla boys play Girona 6:30 p.m. on Saturday, Nigeria time. And we'll see Chidozie Awaziem's Nons play at home against Lyon. Let's see how Awaziem can play against Endrick. I don't know if you guys have been seeing these Endrick clips, man. He's firing these goals, man. See the shot power. Man, I'm so happy for him, man. And then the one who put that his new song that he's promoting, I think it looks so good, man. So very, very good to see. But we'll see if Awaziem's another player that did not start the last game. But I hope his manager stops this nonsense post-AFCON rubbish and brings him on to play a game. So we'll see Awaziem back in the team. And then Sunday, as I've just said, we'll see Rizespor Olawoyi play Osimhen's Galatasaray 3 p.m. We'll also see Christantus Uche's Crystal Palace play against Brighton, as we already previewed. We'll see Maduka Oke's Udinese go away to play Lecce. Udinese actually beat Roma 1-0 on Monday, and Maduka Oke was man of the match, made an exceptional save. So long may that continue. Moses Simons Paris FC go away to play Auxerre. They need to get back to winning ways. That's 5:15 p.m. game on Sunday. Wilfred Ndidi's Besiktas will be playing Alanyaspor at home, 6 p.m. kickoff. And we'll see Ademola lace his boots for his La Liga debut, 6:30 p.m. on Sunday against the same opponents as tonight, Real Betis. Fisaya Delebashi's Lazio have got a tricky tie away against Juventus. We know Fisaya has not been starting games, but I hope his situation changes soon, man. Like, sorry, come on. Figure this thing out, man. Please. That's the 8:45 p.m. kickoff. And then Umar Sadiq's Valencia hosts Real Madrid at the Mestalla, 9 p.m. And then on Monday, as I just previewed, we'll see Terry Murphy and Seydou Sanusi's FC Porto host a top-of-the-table clash against Sporting Lisbon, 9:45 p.m. Nigeria time. So, just before we go through the comments and end the podcast, I want to say a big congratulations and well done to, where's my drum roll sound? So this for our 10K giveaway. I've got all the names. I'll put them into a randomizer draw. And I'm pleased to announce that we'll be giving this away to the Naomi Ogoke on our YouTube and Instagram. I know she's a follower and always giving her thoughts. This is all random. Forgive me if you signed up everywhere and you did not win it. I will reach out to her on YouTube tomorrow and ask for her details. If for any reason she's not able to get in touch with us by the end of the weekend, then we'll do another random draw. But guys, I just want to say a big thank you for all the support and for allowing us to cross this milestone. I know we did it over 5-6 weeks ago, but I do not take it for granted. It means the world to me. And you guys are the ones that give me fuel to decide to stand on my feet for 2 hours plus and talk about football. Yes, I can talk about football in my sleep, to be honest, but I just want to say a big thank you for you guys making it all worth the effort and the time and creating and trying to find the right balance that works for everybody. So shout out to everybody for the 10K giveaway. Shout out to Jackson. Before I get Jackson on, let me just go through the last few comments and then I'll get Jackson to give his takes and his thoughts. And if anybody else wants to come and talk, we'll do that and then we'll round up the podcast. A few more comments that are not yet seen. Jackson, you can speak on it. Actually, Victor's issues, the ones about calling out Ikpeba, Finidi, great players that have won things when he did. When he did, nobody said anything. Even at Napoli, he had issues with his coach there. Maybe you could talk about that as well, but just in general, give your thoughts. We all know about the Lookman performance. Olive, DK, Ocha, I hope you're gonna join and give your thoughts too, because you asked, so that'll be nice. Oh wow, Nigeria, that was Lookman's 100th goal of his career. Let's give him a round of applause. Let's give him Adebobo. Sorry, Dov. This particular giveaway has already ended. It was for the YouTube community getting us to 10K. Maybe when our TikTok gets to 10K, we'll do a 10K TikTok 10K giveaway. But YouTube shows us the most love by far. So we show YouTube the most love. So shout out to the YouTube tribe and everybody. We appreciate it all. Jackson, in fact, I might just let you give a take on all the stuff you've mentioned. Adebola will make Nigerians start to watch La Liga. I agree. Ooh, this leaves Alvarez open for a transfer to Arsenal. I like your Arsenal mind. I like how you think. I like how you think, man. Olive also said Lookman could have scored 2 goals. Yeah, John Andrea mentioned, but at least he did the work he needed to do and he scored the goals he could score. I had the game in the background, but I couldn't watch it unless because I need to look at what I'm doing. But good to know and amazing to see. I like this Taiwo comment about Hazard flopped at Real Madrid. So this Lookman scoring today is the best thing. Honestly, like I said, once you get up and firing, it's the best thing ever. Like that just means that the pressure is just off, and you're already showing that you have the workings and you will deliver. If anybody wants to even sponsor me in changing this to Atletico Madrid, maybe I'll leave it for the rest of the year. But I need to. These things are so expensive. I have to go on a website called Redbubble, get the poster myself, then go to some framing company to frame it for me. In fact, maybe that's not to give too many things away, but we have a website coming soon, and I want to get a shop. Maybe we should even produce these things ourselves. How can we bring enough items to the Nigerian fan membership? Maybe we want to get mugs or posters or bobbleheads or interesting things about Nigeria in general to support. How can we get it? That's something we need to do. So appreciate you all. Yeah, John mentioned when Sevilla would always win Europa. Exactly. Time flies, man. It's crazy. Olive DK Ocha, I hope you are on. Oh, Seolu tried to bring people on the live. This was 20 minutes ago. I haven't seen you click on the live. I can only see my member Jackson that we appreciate so much. So I'll give you 5 minutes. I'll post the link again. And then let me get to Jackson. We got one more comment to go through. Taiwo, shout out to you always for joining. I appreciate all the support. He says our players need to get good agents. I felt sad when Shola Ogundano signed for Dynamo Kiev, while Emmanuel Ochegbo signed for Charlotte FC. Bro, in fact, thanks for reminding me. One of these days, one of my plans to do a deep dive. One of the my plans to do a deep dive is Nigerian players and their agents. Thank God for Lookman, but there's clearly something. Obviously, it was good to see things go the other way. Like Chukwueze went from Zote Waregem to Marseille. I think that's an exceptional move. But a lot of times we don't see our players get the kind of moves that their reputation or their career service so far deserves. It's like even people like Moses Simon that loves to be a one-eyed king in the land of the blind. You play for Levante, then you play for Nantes, then you sign for another promoted side, Paris FC. It's just like, come on, some excitement there. Dolph, I beg you, message me on my TikTok. Yeah, even me, I saw the bobbleheads in Italy. That's what even gave me the idea, but it's good to see. Oh wow, we got someone from Twitch. Amazing. I didn't even know anybody was watching on there. Shout out to you, Agreed Cave Doe, 1KYT. Obviously, this is our normal YouTube stream, but I've started putting it on Twitch just to get that information in there. So shout out to the gang. All right, let's get Jackson on. Where's Jackson? Jackson Alpha. If you dance like Jackson. All right, so we're all done for the episode of the podcast. We'll let Jackson give his thoughts in 2-3 minutes, and then we'll round up the podcast. But just before I let him on, I want to say big thank you to everybody for all the support. Thank you to all for the two of you that are still here right now. I know it's the first time we've done a Thursday live stream, so obviously numbers are a bit different, but we're gonna aim to do this every time, same time every week, so we can keep the consistency. And you guys know that you can always watch us on this platform, and we'll be here to listen to everybody. I want to say a big thank you for everybody who's liked the videos, everybody who's commented and made this more of a community feel where we're going back and forth. Like I said, I'm always open to feedback as usual. But I want to say a big thank you. Rather than me saying please subscribe and showing the social media channels, shout out to Emika for making this fantastic overlay for us. So you guys can see all our social media channels on there and our Twitter. Our Twitter is not even up to 2K, but honestly, I prioritize YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram more. But if you feel like following us on Twitter as well, we post on all these platforms. That'll be much appreciated. But I want to say a big thank you. Everybody, enjoy all the weekend football. Your team, wherever you are, and watching Nigerian players. But let's get our esteemed member, Jackson, to give his thoughts. And then we round up the podcast for today. What's up, Jackson? How are you?
I'm cool. Hi, Olu. What's up?
Good to hear from you, man. How are you? How's everything
Fine.
going?
Good, we're good.
Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Lagos.
Hey, sexy girls in my city, Lagos. I missed the weather. I will lie, but it is what it is. All right, hit me, Jackson. What are you thinking? Arsenal. What do you
Um,
want to do this?
so, I think I'll start from. Let me start from my beloved club, Arsenal.
Of course.
Yeah. I think the league is all done. Last week confirmed it. Let's just take it one step at a time. Like what's his name? This Kelechi would say on AFTV. we say one stone at a time, one mountain, one match at a time. So let's just take it and hope Liverpool does a favor for Arsenal. Chelsea will do us the favor. And that's
I think they'll do us a favor. I can't see
yeah,
Liverpool losing the match, to be honest. Like, I'll be very, very surprised.
yes. I remember last season when we were playing Tottenham. I was telling my guys that Tottenham might lose this match because if they had beaten City last season, would have won the league. But I think they brought through that match. Yeah, it was a painful match. They brought through this, but all the so this season, they didn't disappoint. They gave a comeback, even if they didn't get 3 points. But I enjoyed last week's game.
Nah, I did as well, man. So we move. And
Yeah, so
just
go
on
ahead.
us, before we end, just on us now, since we want a dream, where do you think we'll end up by the end of this season? Are we looking at treble? Are we looking at two? Well, give me your predictions so we know where we stand.
So if we get to our favorite ground for the FA Cup, I think that's our regular trophy. If we make it final of the FA Cup, Wembley is our second home. But I think Carabao Cup would be a tough one because Guardiola might want to live with something because
Yeah,
the league. Yeah, but the FA Cup, if we get to the final, there's no way we're not going to get that trophy. There's no way we're not going to get that trophy.
for
But
me,
the
I just
Premier
want
League
us
is
to use. I want us to use the Carabao Cup to remember how to lift trophies that are not the Community Shield.
yes,
By the way, one
yes,
sec.
yes.
Taiwo, I just want to say a big thank you for your comments. Please like the stream, guys. Thank you. Shout out to you, John Andrea, always for all the comments as well. And like I was saying, I want us to use this Carabao to let's get the winning habits in because I think even with our fiercest opponents, they know that if Arsenal open the floodgates, it could be a tricky moment for the rest of the league for a while. Because we've signed all our
Yeah.
players, everybody's young. We still don't even have a prolific striker, and we're doing all of this. So I like the Omers, man. I like the Omers. I won't lie. I like the Omers. But Sunderland, do you think I think you said 2-0, right? Oh,
Yes, we're beating them. So, you know, the beauty of Sutherland is when they drew that game, they celebrated and Gabriel was down. So I'm waiting for a Gabriel celebration. That's what I'm looking out for. A Gabriel
eh,
Magalhaes
oh
celebration.
my God,
That
yes. That Brian Broby
is for
header last minute.
yeah,
Oh, we'll be there. Don't worry. Ball never lies. Ball never lies.
yeah. So for then the Champions League is tricky because sometimes teams that win it pick their form during quarterfinals. So
Mm-hmm.
I just hope we keep form and don't get discovered in the Champions League until semi-final. Because at the moment, people are still not looking at Arsenal as a contender. They might, but the big boys, we know them when it comes to the semi-final. So hopefully we'll get to the semi-final and go beyond it this time.
I think so too. I think that's what intrigues me the most. Let's see. Look, like you said, round by round, round by round. But I like our chances. I still think we should get. There's a world where we may play. Is it Real Madrid or Man City in the quarterfinals? But let's say any team that's play us now, they will not be. I cannot see them being excited to play us.
So not,
So
yeah, yes, yes. So particularly it will be interesting if we are playing a team that plays open football. So it's
and
attack
that's
wise,
usually
attack.
the Champions League way now.
Yes. So we're not playing a team that is packing the balls and they're expecting Arsenal to break them down. They will start calling Arsenal a corner FC.
I beg,
Yes.
bro. I hope you are ignoring all of them. Oh. They're all talking rubbish. When the
So
days when
because
they used to get dunked on
when
every
when
corner, they don't remember.
when Stoke City used to score with throw-ins, nobody remember them and call them throwing FC. Tony Pulis, if you could remember,
Exactly
Tony
now.
Bolton Wanderers, where they would send
Bro,
the
we were
Joker.
there. Even Swansea. We'll go and play Jefferson Montero. All these guys, they will run our fullbacks ragged. He bullied us up and down. Giannis,
Giannakopoulos.
Elios Janagopoulos. Oh my God, Bolton. Oh my God. So honestly, Jackson, whatever they want to say, it's okay. We'll live with it. As long as we're lifting our title or May. I put the date down somewhere because I hope we win the league well that we can. Because our last game we went away against Crystal Palace, so I want us to win it before that final day, so we can lift it at Emirates Stadium. Yeah, when we play Burnley, 17th of May. We start begging for tickets now, safe. Just in case. All right, and then finally, just on the Nigeria players, how do you find Lookman? I know if you saw the Lookman's goals, but just give me your thoughts quickly on Lookman's move and the goals and the stats, and then maybe give me your take on Nwabali, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay, so I've not seen Lookman's goal, but that move, Lookman to the Spanish league has been long overdue. One of our most skillful striker. Skill-wise, first touch is beautiful. He scores, we call it television goal in Lagos. Lookman scores on the TV. You want to go and
I'm going to steal that just to let you know. I'm going to steal that. I like that television goal.
So you remember the Europa League final? The 3 goals were beautiful. I'm not saying other Nigerian players are
I promise you, Jackson, since you've not seen the goal he scored today was a television goal too. Similar, but you'll see when you watch it.
So, and I think Nigerian players abroad, like you said, I think you made me start watching this, what's his name in Stoke, not in Crystal Palace.
Uche.
So I was wondering, why didn't this guy go to the Nations Cup? Because you'd always mentioned Uche. And I think Uche would have been a good fit for us, but hopefully we keep this coach and Uche goes back to Spain and leaves the Premier. I know why he came to the Premier League.
Even if he doesn't leave, even if he leaves, look, we know Glasner is gonna leave. The next manager may come in and like him. All I know is when I watched him for Getafe last year, Christantus Uche played 99% of every minute for Getafe. Almost every attacking action they had, it was him. Whether getting a penalty, taking a shot, crossing the ball, just being a nuisance with his physicality. Like, he was such a game changer. I don't even know what he's going through not playing these games. It must be quite a difficult time for him, to be honest. I should even reach out to him again since he's in Crystal Palace here. But I'm sure that as long as he just takes stock in the summer, if Crystal Palace get a new manager, speak to the new manager, ask him, what are your plans? I know what I can do. If the manager does not like him, no problem. Go where I loved. La Liga will be waiting for you. But I know that Getafe, I don't think they can afford to have him come back because of the money. So maybe one of the better clubs in La Liga. But for Uche, I just think between now, February to May, focus on how much you can do with Crystal Palace. See what can shake out for you. Because it's still the Premier League. Can you score your first Premier League goal? Can some good things just happen to you that just make you feel a bit more, comfortable and happy? And then you take it from there. And then we go again. And then lastly for me, just to get people's ideas, what do you think about Nwabali? Where do you think he could end up at?
I think sadly the United Arab Emirates.
It makes sense now. Let him go and get some cash. Like, let the whole body a bit.
So I quickly want to retract back to, I'm not being selfish, but the Lookman's deal looks like it's going to open the door for Alvarez. And Alvarez coming to Arsenal is not a bad bet. I know our technical director likes established young players, yes, that you can bank on. In as much as he likes the youth, the academy players, but he wants, I think it's a new TD that would give us, technical director that would give us trophies to back Arteta's up. So then also the part where you're commenting on the team, that's a challenge. But Nigerians are blinded by fan base. They don't look at his attitude. You don't call out Victor Ikeba when you have not won anything for Nigeria and you have not won. Ikeba was Prince of Monaco at 17, 18. Henry was sitting on the bench. Even
I didn't like that thing too. Yeah, like you must respect the legends.
One of our first players to win the Champions League for Ajax. You don't call coaches disrespectfully on social media.
Well, he won nobody.
Yeah, because you won African football. Nobody called you out. Nobody said anything. We all turned a blind eye because we didn't have strikers that could score. If it was in time of Victor Ayedeni, Yakubu Ayedeni, Obafemi Martins, you won't give us this bullshit or this crap. So I think he has to work on his PR properly and what they tend to post for him on social media. I think one time he had a bus with his coach at Napoli one time in training. I saw
It was Spalletti now. But to be
yeah,
fair,
it was sent out. Yeah, so their training bus happen. Yeah, we know our controversial Balotelli, which was a constant thing for him. But because when it happens, people always remember skin color. They don't remember that it was his attitude that that made him that way. George Well was the first African to have won a World Footballer of the Year. Nobody remembered his skin color. So he played well and he did his best. So Osimhen should just put his acts together, look for a better league to go to. When he
yeah.
was in battles, before Arsenal started going for Jokeres and Sesko, Osimhen was already hotter than them, but nobody
Exactly.
went for him.
Exactly.
So that's ourselves that question. Yeah,
But it goes back to what I was saying about agents, my bro, like you commented as well. When you look at certain people making moves, go and check Murphy's agents. Same agents as them, Saka. Like, there's a reason why you must sign for the right agencies. I heard Osimhen after his failed move one time, he dropped calendar. Fair enough. But apparently, as far as I know, he doesn't have an agent anymore. He has an intermediary or people he's talking to. And you can tell. Because how can you be a player of that standing in football and your options in the summer are Al Hilal, Galatasaray, and Chelsea trying to lowball you? Can you imagine them trying to do that for? Remember Iraola's agency? There's one woman now,
yeah.
she's Haaland's agent. She was part of the Iraola group. Let me just try and find them. Can you imagine someone like that negotiating for Osimhen and they are telling her that he's asking for too much wages? She almost slapped
No,
him. Like, who the hell are you? Yeah,
you don't
Rafaela
want
Pimenta. Yeah, Pimenta has taken all the clients of Iraola. Haaland, Delict, Mazraoui, Gimenez. Or maybe she even moved to her own specific thing. But anyway, she's Haaland's primary agent. And we
that's
already
why
know that Haaland signed 9-year contracts. And we know there's no issues with the money. So anyway, hopefully they live and they learn going forward. But
so
just to round up, go ahead.
my last take and before you round up. Your beat on Nigeria players, I've always said it, you make me want to go on your page every time you do a post. And it's lovely that you are doing a live, but I think you should do a live sitting down because starting for 2 hours, you'll have to change your setup. You have to do a live sitting down and
You know what's
get a
funny?
mouth.
Thank you so much for the praise, Jackson. I appreciate it so much. You know what's so funny? I can say to the wider group, because of being in Nigeria for AFCON and Morocco, I learned how to do the pod sitting down. But because of my room is not that big, and this is what I've turned to my studio, the way the setup is, I kind of have to stand at the moment. But I'm trying to
Get
get something
a high
like
stool,
a big stool. But to be
studio.
honest, also in England, we're not moving our bodies as much as we should be in Nigeria. If I was in Nigeria Thursday nights, I'm sure I would have found myself in Trucker Central or somewhere that I can be moving. So UK is kind of good to have to stand sometimes, bro, because honestly, we're not standing as often as we should. So, but I'll take that one on board. In fact, as Olive said, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get a high chair. In fact, I have one DIY chair here like this that I've added something to the back, but it's not as so I could do this, but
Yeah,
it's not
that
as
works. That
easy.
works. That works. You just move a bit closer to your mic. That works. Maybe something closer, so that you, so that when we do live sections, like you said, maybe once in a while, bringing someone to join your podcast. I believe it's gonna go bigger than this. I know, not believe. I know it's gonna go bigger than this because nobody does it like you do. Not you don't hunt anybody. You always give the best. The best. You see the best in every Nigerian player, in as much as they give terrible attitude or don't play well in their club. You see the best in every Nigerian player, and we kudos to you. At least you are helping. Like I said, the first time I joined your live podcast, your live show was during the Nations Cup. You are helping the NFA scout for players, in directly or indirectly, because
I
some
appreciate
of
that
these
so
people
much. Oh. Wow.
don't
To
really.
be honest, even at Morocco, I met some people from NFF. They say I should give them my number. But It means the world to me, and thank you so much. And look, we just want to do our part to boost football. Is something we're passionate about, but there's only so much you can do sitting down and lamenting. Oh, this thing is not happening. Like, do something about it. Like, it's not as if we didn't have the capabilities to. Obviously, I've been doing this for 5 years. Maybe I've really leveled up properly in the past 2 years. Like buying equipment, maybe in the last year. So those are things people don't know. But all these things cost money, whether it's this or the light or the
Light,
phone or
light, the camera, the phone,
remember
whatever you're using.
subscription, streaming ad subscription per month, and making sure you have all the right lighting. You need a subwoofer to connect the microphone, but then I have a wireless mic and I have like 200 wires. I have a stand thing that I was even carrying all over Morocco. But the point is, as long as God gives us the capabilities to do this and bring this. And to be honest, I'm one of those people. I've been talking about football since I was 5 years old. I was that guy that will sit down with the adults when I'm 8, 9, and they're watching football. They're like, "Who's this kid?" So I've always known I could talk about football and do it, but I really, really wanted to make it about the Super Eagles first
And,
because we just have a
and
national channel and things like that. But
but I think one beautiful thing you do is you don't banter. So banter might come soft, but you don't, even if you banter, it's going to be legit. You don't come up and just say things sarcastically or like because you want to say it. So it makes the show stand out because you're not saying it because you want to say, you're saying it because it's fact. Yeah. And that's definitely will stand the test of time.
nah, this means a lot, man. Thank you. Anyway, like I said, Jackson, from 2 weeks from now, all our members will be doing specific members only live streams. Literally for this, no agenda to start. We'll just sit down and just talk ball for an hour. So just
Yeah,
as a way to make sure we're appreciating our members who are giving a bit more back to the community. But thank you so much, man. I can't believe it's almost 3 hours now. Olive,
and
I
yeah,
hope
so
I
all
will
right.
see you on the next. Thank you so much, Jackson. God bless you. It means the world.
God bless you,
I
Ola.
promise you,
God
I
bless
don't take these things for granted. Now, my bro, wherever God is taking us, don't worry, we are taking everybody on the journey by God's
you. Yes,
grace.
sir.
Amen. Much love, man. Have a wonderful weekend, yeah, and Friday.
You too. Take care. God
God
bless
bless.
you.
Olive, I hope I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for the lovely words. That's really sweet of you. Says top analysis is the first day I start watching your podcast. Thank you so much, man. That means the world. Honestly, these things I cannot even express how much they make me happy. And just feel humbled, man. Like honestly, it means the world. Like I said, it gives me feel to make me know that we're doing it. We're never wasting our time, and I don't ever feel like that. So God bless. Final questions. Taiwo says, "Do you think we are being fair to Maduka Okoye?" Yes, Nwabali has been exceptional, but a PSL goalkeeper being preferred to a regular starting goalkeeper at Serie A, definitely Okoye would decline. This is a great question, Taiwo. Let me quickly wrap this up in one minute. You guys know me. Anybody who's been on this channel for a while, nobody promoted Maduka Okoye more than me. You know, if I'm being very, very honest, you guys know me. I'm always about. In fact, I thought Okoye should play at AFCON. You know, but we have to be honest with some of the information we share and find the balance of what we can say out and what we cannot say. But the honest truth, Taiwo, is I heard from sources. In fact, let me not say sources. While I was staying in the Super Eagles Hotel in Marrakesh, I got wind of the possibility that Maduka Okoye demanded that he must start at AFCON to be Nigeria's number one, to come to AFCON. And I'm sorry, you cannot be giving Super Eagles ultimatums. It's not as if you are David Raya or Allison. I can understand his perspective of thinking I don't want to lose my club space. But remember, Okoye is not exactly a saint. He was banned for 3 months for betting. Literally, he only came back in October. So that also tells you something about character. So the same way people want to almost bastardize Osimhen without also appreciating that Osimhen's character is what also gives him that energy on the pitch and that attitude and aggressiveness that makes him play in a certain way and fight for every ball. Is it? We also have to admit, Maduka Okoye doesn't make all the best choices in his life. Because for you to be suspended 3 months for betting, yes, it was not life ending, but that means you were doing something wrong. Maybe he was giving some of his boys names to put on a slip or something, but clearly something happened that did not go well. So it's not Nigeria's fault that he was suspended for the beginning of the season. Then he starts playing in October. Yes, by December, you don't want to lose your place if you're not going to start for Nigeria. But no disrespect to Maduka Okoye, Super Eagles no be squirrels of Benin or Gambia national team. You cannot be making demands. Even Osimhen cannot make demands. Talk less of you because you're a goalkeeper. When last you play for us in the Russia friendly? You did okay. We take it like that. But Nwabali has delivered for the Super Eagles and never let us down. And ultimately, because of the kind of AFCON Nwabali now had, this is what has now led me to this opinion. I'm all about meritocracy. I want to see Stan Nwabali playing in a big club and playing well. You guys know me. That's my brand. Meritocracy. It's the same way we appreciate Salim Fago, but we do not believe he should be in the AFCON squad. We saw Mohamed Usman ourselves in the hotel so many times. He did not smell the pitch for 1 minute because we knew he should not be there. You know, I almost feel like maybe they even called him up so that he can keep Zedu Sanusi company, because you still see some factions within the team of who's hanging out to, you know, can tell Onachu and Awaziem are good friends. We saw them watching the Morocco-Cameroon game together. You see the Hausa boys together, Salim, Osman Mohamed, Zedu. You know, Simon seems to be someone that can get involved with everybody. You know, you see the Ini boys with themselves, but Bassey knows how to float around. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So when we look at character and how character even affects the way teams play or teams move, you have to admit that that's where I've now withdrawn my team, because Osimhen Nwabali has delivered for us again, back-to-back AFCONs. And as far as he does not let Nigeria down, there's no reason for him to lose the spot, especially because he's shown commitment in a way that this guy has not. Because I'm sorry, yes, you have to look after yourself and your career, but you cannot turn down call-ups unless you are definitely selected. Thank you so much, Step Monique. God bless you. In the words of Eric Shell, the aggressivity that based on Osimhen, you must show aggressivity. So you cannot come and be holding Super Eagles to ransom. Like I said, being in Morocco, I realized I reiterated my knowledge that Nigeria is the biggest brand in Africa. Do not be deceived. Morocco have the facilities we might not have, but nobody is more important than Super Eagles. Nobody generates more noise and more attention than anything in Nigeria. Trust me. Then you now tell us that if you don't start, you are not coming. So nobody that has been doing well, we should now put him into the side. And before AFCON, what did Nwabali do? It's not to save penalty against Congo. 2 penalties safe. So I don't think we are being harsh. If I'm Maduka Okoye, I will continue to play well for Udinese. And I will go and tell Eric Shell, I'm sorry I was in a weird space. I will never miss another call-up. And I want to be part of the squad going forward because we still need him. But if he does not, if he wants to act bigger than that, brother, you are not more important and you are still a goalkeeper. So that's my take on that. I hope that helps a little bit, Taiwo. So I appreciate you so much about that. Exactly. And as Monica said, Otto Okonkwo is in the corner. We should bring Okonkwo to come and start betting him into friendly games so he can come and fight with Nwabali, to be Nwabali's backup for now. Oh, there's a world, don't get me wrong, next World Cup, Okoye and Okonkwo will be the right ages. Nwabali may be too old by then, we know. But for now, all Okoye needs to do is never turn up a cap again. That's if you leave me called up again, because I'm Eric Shell, I'm not calling you up again. If you turn down my call up, you should have to come and beg me with every fiber in your blood and promise that you will be diligent and be in camp. It's not Okoye that I always hear is always entering camp late. Look, these patterns, there are a lot more things I've learned from being in Morocco. I won't lie to you. So let's just say there's a reason my stance as I'm happy for Maduka, but I'm very, very grateful that we have Stan Nwabali, and long may it continue. When he decides that he wants to be a footballer again for the Nigerian national team, he will do the things he needs to do accordingly, and we will take it from there and move accordingly. So I hope that helps. Steph Monique, I want to say a big thank you for this question too. Thank you, Olu. This is a safe space. No be like some Egbon where they do IG live, where they block person. Law, really, who blocks people for their opinions? Football is a world for everybody. Oh. Even me, I'm not perfect. You guys know me, I have a sharp mouth. You've heard it in some of the recordings before. You know, you know. You know, like, so I have my moments where I could be hot-headed as well, especially if someone abuses me. That's the thing I don't like. Don't abuse me, sharp, because I'll abuse you. My mouth is sharp. I learned it from primary school and secondary school in Nigeria. You know, but I think there's a space for everybody in the world of football. We all love different clubs with different types of football. Some like youth football, women's football, whatever it is. So I'm just so grateful that we're able to provide a community where people can feel like they could bring their thoughts and express their thoughts within the footballing space. So long may continue. Don't worry, next month we have Women's AFCON. We'll watch along all the games again. Shout out to the women, man. They always deliver for us. Even this match friendly, we'll see whether Nigeria is playing friendly or if we somehow get to go to Mexico. Whichever way is going. All I'll say is if we end up going to the World Cup, get me lit. But honestly, I don't want to do mago to enter there, to be honest. So but the whole point is we got a lot more stuff to talk about. And look, guys, the next few, whether it's club football, as we get to the Champions Leagues, maybe if you guys want me to do watch alongs for Champions League games, I may be able to do it for the Arsenal ones. I have a channel called Arsenal Football Weekly. We can link it to this. Whatever kind of space, whatever people need to see. If it's about just talking about football and doing it, we can do that. Whatever content is needed, just let me know and we'll provide that space. Even if it's giving you guys the opportunity to help with some of the editorial stuff or shaping the content, you know, like now we have midweek games, for example, but maybe you may prefer it if I spell out the matches that are going to be happening in this my new list. So big thank you to everybody. Let me go through the final 5 questions and then we'll wrap up for the evening. God bless you all. John, Andrea, let me go and do my research on this thing. I saw the notification yesterday about Con Califat and the fact that they decided to withdraw from the MPFL because of sanctions that were unrealistically placed on them. I saw the statement by their chairman, but I need to do more research. So let me go and do more research on that and come back to you, my bro. Because I was a bit like, this seems a little crazy. What is going on here? So I got you on that one. And honestly, John, thank you so much for always supporting and always joining. It means the world. Everybody, all 30 of you that are still here after almost 3 hours. Eshegon, more appreciated. If I will see me well, Dada. May the Lord continue to bless you all in Jesus' name. That's how I know the limit of my Yoruba. You see, alone. Hey, let me not expose myself too much. We can speak pidgin, Sha, but we're getting better. It's our Yoruba always. Okay, final comments before we wrap it up. I already spoke about Steph Monique saying we need to give a quote unquote small chance. I agree. Taiwo says, honestly, Super Eagles is a big brand. Iwobi and Bassey makes jokes, their news trend. Exactly. Lookman goes all over his post pages. Same with Osimhen news. Exactly. This is why I always tell people we're not small. If you saw my interview with Fans Tribe after the Algeria match, big nation. Big nation. In fact, that's the one thing that's giving me hope about this whole Congo thing. Because if you are FIFA and CAF and Nike, let's not lie. Who do they want to be at the World Cup? Do you know how many jerseys Nike go sell in America? We can even do Football Weekly watch party everywhere. So let's see what happens with that one, man. But I hope even us as Nigerians will treat our Super Eagles with the respect they deserve. Yes, we must call out the Azamen and the idiots. But I'm telling you guys, we need to bring back the love. When I was in Morocco, the way the average Moroccan person was supporting their national team. This is a country that have not won any trophy in 50 years. Yes, we do not count Arab Cup. That was not our problem at all, you know. So I hope we can get to a place where the average Nigerian is naturally in love with the Super Eagles again and not fair weather support. I know some people after the semi-final, they say they're not watching Nigeria again. That what do we need bronze? Meanwhile, there are a lot of countries that they will die for bronze medal. Or the South Africa, when they won bronze last year, do you know the way they were talking in that last tournament? That's how you know small countries where they shake. DR Congo, do you know when last they tasted bronze medal? That's why people were trying to banter us because we're losing. How can we lose World Cup sports to South Africa and DR Congo? They now say Amaju. I'm still going to watch that his interview and come back to you guys, man, because That guy, we need to give him special anointing oil at this point. So we move. And then finally, Olive says, I do agree Okoye shouldn't be given terms and conditions. Still preferring to Nwabali. Stanley is hotted. I can understand that take, but you see, even saying you prefer him, that used to be me before this last AFCON. But honestly, Olive, there's no world where I can say I prefer Okoye to Nwabali again. Nwabali has done it in 2 AFCONs, made 0 mistakes in the 2 AFCONs. Literally, between the 2 AFCONs, he kept 8 clean sheets. He must already be close to a Yema's clean sheet record from AFCON tournaments. Like, I don't think we realize how impressive what Nwabali has been doing for the Super Eagles since he entered this. Yes, they hothead, sometimes things happen. But he has not made any costly mistake that has cost us like that too. Let's be honest. So, Okoye is not by playing against Russia that will judge you. Let's see him in a competitive game and how he delivers. But also, your commitment matters. If you are showing up to camp late and demanding that you don't want a call-up, unless you start, that tells me there's an attitude issue. By the way, Osimhen has never turned down call-up. So let's be guided as well with how we're abusing these guys. Also, Olive says, is it true Nwaneri could join Super Eagles soon? I haven't heard anything, but to be honest, I feel like our chances of getting Nwaneri are much, much higher. Arsenal are already showing him that Max Dalman is the new franchise young boy. I always tell people, I live in London, the way they will move on for you, especially if there's a blonde-haired white boy somewhere. Like, bro, Nwaneri is already learning that, look, you are not the golden boy you thought you were. We like you, but they will move on. Do you get what I'm saying? They will move on, man. I'm telling you. So I think if I'm NFF and the people I was talking to in Morocco were saying, oh, we need you in the NFF, what kind of things? I even met one guy, head of DG of National Sports Commission. He promised me tickets for Morocco. He now lets me down. Anyway, we'll forgive you. I forgot his name. One, he's also short like me. Dark skin guy like this. Is it Mr. Allow? Anyway, interesting guy, Sha. But the point is, what was I trying to say? These guys know that they need to be doing better in terms of propositioning players coming into the national team. They need to do the work. I'm telling you. But the problem is, how can a whole NFF strategy be, oh, Alex, when you go back to this club, can you talk to this place? It does not make any sense. At least, I like what Jackson has said about watching the Amaju interview. I know he also spoke about Tammy Abraham and Ibrahim Chiezi. I know there are some moments where Pinnick will be talking to these people. But even Pinnick talking to them is not the right approach. Nobody needs you to be in the house to be whining and dining them. Can we book a meeting? Can we show you our proposal? Where is the video? Where was the video when Eze was young, showing him a number 10 shirts with him and JJ Okocha and showing him that his name means king in Igbo. And, oh, you can be the next king of the midfield of Nigeria. And that's his name. Bukola Olokpade. Yeah, that was him. That was his name. Yeah. Although, nice man, Sha, but he lets me down for those tickets. So I just need to cut that one out. But at least it was nice to me initially. But yeah, where the person putting the videos in front of Eze saying, look, your name is Kingo. Come and become the king of the Nigerian midfield. Show him a video with JJ Okocha and then interfacing with his own face and showing him the number 10. Come and be the next JJ. Where was the video? Oh, by the way, you can come and represent the most populous black nation in the whole world. Playing for Nigeria even means far more than money. But your importance to your race and to your people is so much. And then show them the kind of love. England, there are people that like cricket and rugby here and don't like football. Nigeria is football or die. Where is the proposal? If Germany and England can bring a proposal to Jamal Musiala, who are Nigeria not to put proposal? If I'm Nigeria right now, I'm doing a proposal for Nwaneri, Ileni Kena, Honest Ahano at where's that, my boy? Atalanta. Even them, let's go Chukwueze. Go and talk to them. Like, we're too big of an institution. But it doesn't mean that you cannot bring proposals. Even Arsenal, as big as we are, if you want to sign a player, we have to show him how he's going to fit into our team, where he's going to play. You know, here's the brand value of you joining Arsenal, blah, 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 blah. Show these people. Go and show them a jersey with Nike, put their name on the back, send it to them. But meanwhile, the NFF men are not thinking, because if you even go to Nike Town in London, you cannot get a Nigeria number on the back of your Nigeria shirt. And you know one as our men signed one deal somewhere with Nike without even doing due checks. I even heard the current Nike deal is even less than the one before. So what are we doing? Nobody is thinking. You go to Nigeria, you can't even see original jersey of Super Eagles. Why? Because nobody is pricing the jersey for the market. You cannot sell jersey £100. It doesn't make any sense to me. Do you know how much £100 is in Naira? Over like 200,000, maybe 200, almost 200,000 Naira. And you want that to price jersey at now? It doesn't make sense now. Speak to someone in Nike and tell them, can you price these jerseys at 40,000 Naira, 50,000 Naira for the Nigerian market? If not 20,000. Whatever the difference in the money you're making, minus that $1 million from the brand value you're going to give us. Because we need to build equity in Nigeria. We're the only country in Africa you sponsor. Let's make sure it shows. Where the 5-a-side pitches with Nike sign and NFF sign on the pitch? Nobody is thinking. Nobody. But when they now create one store in the whole of Lagos in Lekki, you now see PR people coming to announce, hey, they've opened Adidas store. To help who? You see Nigeria playing New York, there's no green in the crowd. Because people cannot afford the jersey, or maybe even if you say they're like Adeska, where is the jersey? You have to flood the country green. You have to have a planned strategy, national strategy. I met Moroccans. They say football is part of their national strategy. And you could tell, you go to any store in Morocco, they are selling Morocco cap, Morocco hat, Morocco shirts, Morocco dumbbell, everything. Every time Morocco was playing, men or women or grandma or 5-year-old or 85-year-old or everybody is locked in. Locked in. Then Amaju will come here and be telling us if I was the president, we will not have missed World Cup. Who was president when we missed in 2022? Who was president when we missed AFCON in 2015 and 2017? God will punish some of these people, I'm telling you. And this thing is not hard. You can tell some of them are smart enough to know. That's what pisses me off about Pinnick. Pinnick is clearly a smart man. He's just selfish. Gusau is not that smart. When you watch his interview, you can tell he's trying, but his brain does not have the capacity for outside of the box thinking like that. But Pinnick and Co, that know what they're doing. If he's to come and be making massive beach house in Lashe, you will see him there. I saw him in Lashe one time. I almost wanted to. Every time I see that man, I just get so angry in my heart. I'm telling you, man. You know, can you imagine? So what are we doing, man? What are we doing? So hopefully, I mean, now I know that some footballers watch these shows and stuff. I'm hoping some of you in the NFF are even watching this. If it sounds harsh, I apologize. But I'm sorry, big man, please. Something needs to change. Can you go and talk to Nike Town? Nike Town here. We cannot get Osimhen jersey on the back. We cannot get Iwobi. I don't know what you guys are doing. Please, start with the basics. Next time our players play a match for qualifier in September, they will take them back to that dilapidated beach in Uyo. You see them training, holding mats by themselves. Players that have been staying in 5-star hotel in Morocco, training in Raja Casablanca pitch. I was in the Raja Casablanca training facility myself. I saw my Morocco eyes. We're all wasting our time. I'm telling you, those NFL time wasters carrying us to Gosville, like Babio Stadium in Uyo. Imagine England playing games in Leicester. Or France are sending their team to Nice to play. Or Spain sending their team to Villarreal. Does not make any sense now. Meanwhile, today, Nike released this Super Eagles 96 jersey. The one I already have that I want one other day like this. And the jacket I was wearing in AFCON. £80, £90. But where is the release in Nigeria? For the actual Nigerians to buy it. But Gusau, I'm sure Gusau is not even aware. So, anyway, we move. Sorry, you guys, you know, once I start talking about NFF, Super Eagles, think they get me heated, man. So, sorry, I've almost reached 3 hours, but I'll make sure I end this time. But, yeah, just to round up, you're right, Stepmonic is this guy, Bukola. Mr. Olokpade, you let me down, oh. Not telling me 3 hours before the match that there's nothing you can do for ticket. If you see the way he arrogantly told me you sort tickets out, hey, sort it. It's just one you need. You know, Nigerian men, when they say when they think you're foreign and you don't need them. He said, oh, I like the way you dress. You look like you're. He said, take my number. I said, Uncle, I'm supposed to go back before the semifinals. Oh. I don't have tickets. Can you get me tickets? He said, sort it. On the day, you see the wala. Shout out to my friend Taiwo, man, ITB. If not for Taiwo and sorting me out one way or the other, That's how we would have gone. Let me tell you, Nigeria, even the Nigeria supporters club, that guy that wearing a jersey, they dress like a priest that was famous during AFCON. Everybody in Nigeria is selfish. Do you know this guy for the third place match? He could have given me a ticket for free. He charged me $100 per ticket. Third place match, oh. Meanwhile, tickets I got that I paid for myself were less than £50 for two. So we're all doing ourselves. Meanwhile, by God's grace, as this podcast is getting bigger, we'll get to a place now where he will ask me to interview him. And he will think I will not remind him that he collected money from me, but I'll remind him. Because some Nigerians are thieves. Thieves. Third place jersey, third place game. Oh. Anyway, thank God I now found Lookman's dad after. Lookman's dad will not tell him that, why'd you give somebody money now? I have ticket for you. Can you imagine? He saw me with Nigeria gear. I told him what I'm doing. Oh. Say, yeah, $100. Anyway, God is watching all of you now. One day you come and ask me for $100 to Mr. Supporters Club, and I'll remind you for what you did to me in Morocco, because you're all selfish. That's our problem. Too many selfish Nigerians. We don't care enough about the collective. That's why you see all our houses. Even my house is nice, yes. But look at the public areas in Nigeria. Look at the airports. Anything that has to do with the public or collective is rubbish. Rubbish. Everybody, personal. Let my house look massive. Until we start caring about the collective and the average common person, I don't know what will change. And it's like embarrassment to not do it. Trump even threatening Nigeria. Waiting as a man don't do. Nobody to still collect money. But by God's grace, so I promise you guys, the two things with Nigeria I carry as matter on my head: Super Eagles and everything football. We'll always be here. We'll do what we can do from wherever location we are. And that is why I promise you guys, we will never stop. If I'm doing this for 5 years, we'll do this. If I have to do this I'm 90, so be it. And we'll build. I'm talking about Super Eagles forever, so be it. But someone's got to do the job. Only other thing is music. And I live in London. So every Super Eagle, every Afrobeat artist, instead of their dream to be to play the Dome of Lagos, the Lagos Dome, the dream of Nigerians is to play Otu Arena in London. Does that not tell us how sick we are in the head? The aim of every Afrobeat artist is how well they can sell out Madison Square Garden or Otu Arena in London or Stadium in London. Not in the house. So can you imagine meanwhile Ashake will go and do stadium in South Africa because they have the facilities for it? You know? Can you imagine? So what are we doing? So even me, when I'm in Lagos, I don't bother with concerts because I know all of them, they will come and do concerts here and it will be cheaper and there will be no table and they will do a better show. I'll go to Nigeria, they're telling us pay 1 million for table. They will show up at 3 a.m. Everybody will feel church change. The sound system is not even amazing. Then they'll bring on 50 artists. So we're all doing ourselves. But music and football, I can carry that on my head very well from this London. And I promise you guys, we will never stop on this football thing. I'm telling you. One day, things will change, I'm telling you. At least with football, that one, if we must force the change. And I also love the fact that this podcast is widely watched by people of all ages. All the uncles I've met, even on holiday, 60 plus. In fact, majority of our audience is 30 to 70, which is good. So it means there are some big people here that watch all the time. So let's move and make things work. And by God's grace, things will work well in Jesus' name. Just as Arsenal are going to give Sunderland the work this weekend, and Lookman is going to give Betis the work this weekend, and Osimhen is going to give Rizespor the work this weekend, and we shall see Akko and Co give their opponents the work this weekend by God's grace. So let's be moving. Sorry about that. That was a bit more than I expected, but let me go to the final comments and then I'll round up. Exactly like Taiwo said, look at all these players. Ethan. I don't even know if we need Tyreek George that much, but wings are probably one of the things we're a bit deficient at. If it's a Hamburg, someone does sign by Hamburg that people are saying should come to Super Eagles, then that tells us we need more wingers. I don't consider Lookman a winger anymore, at least for Super Eagles. We know he's playing that hole now. And you can see I played in the front two with Griezmann. So wingers. Kayode, that one, he doesn't speak enough good English, so I'm sure that one wants to go and play for Italy, which is crazy to me, but good luck to you. Kari Chukwueze, I'm sure that won't play for Nigeria, but he needs to even start playing well because I won't lie. If you want to play for Nigeria and you are number 10, it means you must be at least 60% of what Lookman is. That's why I wouldn't mind Nwaneri. Go and find Nwaneri, and then we see the other ones, keep tabs on, and we can see what we can do. Thanks for this, Themonix. Themonix, I went to Shiloh too fast. I went to Faith Academy, the secondary school. So I know Shiloh very well. Let's see what happens with that one. John, thank you, bro. We're gonna call them out always, man. I promise you, man. Always. Look at what guys are saying. Look at Nigeria jerseys, €100 in Dublin. Can you imagine? $70. Convert that amount to Naira, my people. How can we expect any? Like, it does not make sense. It does not make sense. Pinnick na games prefect for secondary school. I will not be surprised. Thanks for this part, Olive. Olive said, Amaju mentioned in an interview with said that some NFF guys had ruined the Nike deal opportunity before he assumed office. Said Nike didn't want to have anything to do in Nigeria. You see? But him, when he assumed office, I'm 99% sure the deal has been renegotiated. So what did he do as part of it? That's my problem, Amaju. He likes to throw that in the glass house. What of you? You're NFF president for 8 years. You were even on FIFA men's committee. You were one of the vice presidents of FIFA until last year. You are still on the FIFA men's committee. What did you do? What are you not telling us? That's stadium they are building in Delta or Borodo that Simo BK called out. We all know that it's Phoenix Village. So what's he talking about? But if he was, it has the guy is such a story man. I don't know that people like me too, I can't talk. The story man is people that can't speak English well. Telling you, say, I'm going to watch it tomorrow for sure. I've just not had as much time. Pinnick, just be story manning. Meanwhile, I was in Morocco one day. Me and Taiwo were on our way just before the semi-final. We went somewhere to eat. Guess we just saw in the corner of our eye about to enter one blacked out Benz doing big man in the corner again. Amaju, we just ignored him. Because, well, that one, God will forgive him for the lies he likes to give. I'm sure some of it is true, but Umar, you had another extra, extra spice in there to garnish the gist well. And he knows how to evade questions. Pinnick, we see you always. We see you. Honestly, oh Lord, John said W rants, bro, it's needed though. They need to know. I appreciate you guys too, man. Much love always, Jackson. Stevodic said, Mr. Olu, I know myself. If I enter NFF, I go do pass Amaju. I don't even mind this comment. Do you know what my honest take? What even pisses me off the most, Stevonic and guys? They are so short-sighted in NFF that they don't realize that there's a way you will do work, and make our footballing ecosystem work that will grow the GDP of the entire football space, create jobs. Imagine if we had a working league, demand and supply of people wanting to buy tickets, buy jerseys, buy refreshments at games. It's shown on Super Sports. People are paying for advertising space. People are buying merch for all these clubs. Oh, under 20s are playing. We have a supporters club and people that are willing to go and support off their own back because the jerseys are easy to find. There's enough posters and images and things and memorabilia about Nigeria that people can find. So the average Nigerian just has a natural interest in the national team. And every time Nigeria plays, it might even reach the point where we have to be doing tour of Nigeria because there's too much demand. Can you imagine how much more money they will make? But yet, we don't have one good stadium. So when Gusau is telling us they are working with IMG, IMG are the people that produced the Premier League for the past 20 years. This is going to be their final season. Yeah. But IMG, they come to Nigeria, they look at the few stadiums you have. There's not one good broadcasting facility. So that's why when we're watching Nigeria-friendly games, we can't watch them anyway because there's nowhere to strike a deal. The NFF should be able to strike broadcasting deals and say, whenever Nigeria is not playing a tournament or a qualifier, we know the value of our brand as Nigeria. Whenever we set up a high value friendly, we believe these are the right TV deals we should do for all these countries. We must make sure it's on terrestrial TV in Nigeria so everybody can watch it. Okay, we sell it to passport for this amount, for this TV rating. But guess what? None of these people are thinking. Because if they even go report and made so much more money, do you think we'll even complain about the amount of money they're stealing? Nobody is saying don't steal. Steal small. Who does not like money? Money helps. But there's a way you can even steal and still do work. Everybody will even close their eyes safe. But it's not even common thinking. We all know the reason why we don't make the World Cup. They know how to hire Eric Shell on time. Do you remember they were wasting our time with Labadia? Then they now came to bring Finidi George because they had pressure of people saying homegrown. Why are you falling for homegrown? Meanwhile, this is a country that is in love with the colonizer. Everything foreign is loved. But you bound to pressure that they say Finidi should be Super Eagles man. Why? Finidi that was using Nigeria to funnel Benjamin Tanimu to play games. Benjamin Tanimu left Nigeria League to play for Crawley Town in League 2 in England and was starting games for Nigeria World Cup qualifiers. And people are telling me that we have people that are okay in the head. Let's all be watching ourselves, Sha. Let's all be watching. Nobody's saying don't steal, but still it says. In fact, you know the way they make everybody in NFF look so bad? Me, if I went to Morocco, I met somebody from NFF. I said, these people sound like they're smart. I met the director of communications, one lovely man like this. If you see him, he's been working for a while. Great people. But because of one or two bad eggs and decision making, it makes everybody look stupid. You are owing people money. But meanwhile, if you see the NFF contingent in Morocco, if you see how many of them were there, but you are owing players their money. But if it's time to now tell us what happened with FIFA funds in Ogborodo, will be a story. Or tell me what's the logic behind building stadium in Kebbi. Then Gusau came to now say that FIFA's mission is that football should be everywhere. But it does not make sense to put the stadium wherever you have your most densely populated people. You go and carry it to a village where there's no more than 5,000 people. Meanwhile, in Lagos with 25 million people, how many good 5-side pitches exist for free for people to play? Or stadium? Well, we're deceiving ourselves, man. Do you know that I promise you that from this London, we can do a better job of creating a Nigeria football museum and Super Eagles museum in this London than they can do in Nigeria right now. Do you know how shameful that sounds? Benin, they wanted to collect Benin bronze and make one of the most modern museums in the world in Benin. What's happened to that project? Where is it? Where is the NFF museum? This one that they've renovated National Theatre, give it 10 years. It's not Nigeria. So I don't know the way out, but with this football, we're going to figure something now. If we have to get rid of all the old people and find people that actually care about this thing, because they make some of us look stupid for caring so much. Because we're here now, our country is not making the World Cup. But we know we're easily the third best team in Africa, if not second. So, it's all good, man. We move, man. My God, I love Iran. Shout out to you all, man. Shout out to you. They better be watching. Exactly, John. 96K. How can someone pay 96K for Jersey now? Does not make sense. Exactly, like Jackson said. No good road, no good pitch. Nobody wants to watch Nigeria League, but everybody's obsessed with the Premier League. Every other country with a big footballing culture, even though they're obsessed with the foreign league, they're obsessed with their local league. Even in Morocco, do you know how many drivers will pass say, hey, why that? Casablanca, hey, that's far. South Africa, it's not the same thing. Even Brazil, Gabriel and Co that play for us now. Have you seen them when they want to go and dance with Flamengo? So the whole ecosystem, somehow we've turned our country and we are so proud that we love Premier League so much. No problem. But what's happening to our own? Now, under 20 and 17 cannot even qualify. I didn't even see you right under 17 before I said that. Low. Can you imagine? So let's be watching. Our women that are winning. Last 2 international windows did not organize any friendly for them. Then we wonder why the Super Falcons, their ranking is 30-something in the world. When we know that they lost on penalties to England in the last World Cup. Because they're not playing friendlies. As our men are not doing anything to help them. And you know that if they are owing the men's team money, me and you know they are owing all those women everything that they've promised them. Every single penny. I know Nigeria with our patriarchy society, they'll probably tell the women better shut up or something stupid. So let's be watching ourselves, man. I hope one day we can figure things out, man. I read this thing about this village, that you need a boat to get there. So Amaju, well done. God is watching you very well. All of you, stay outside in heaven since you think you don't have to answer to anybody on earth. Don't worry, God is watching everybody. All of you. Thank you, Olive. Imagine Oli said lobbying for Amonike to be Super Eagles coach in his interview with Amaju. We already have Eric Shell doing his job. Thank you. In fact, let me tell you guys firsthand something I heard about Amonike. None of the players like him because he doesn't have good personal man management skills. You want to talk to multimillionaire footballers as if they are kids because you coached on a 17 team 15 years and 10 years ago. None of them want him. So when they hear this thing about people, Amonike struggling to get, there's a reason. He has no good personal skills. You can't be talking to multimillionaire footballers like they're stupid. You have to talk to them with a certain level of respect. Then they give you the respect back. It's how we live outside of Nigeria. But Nigeria, all this just bow down and say Ogasa to everybody of notice. No wonder they're happy to remove Chustekong. Just wait till another British-born Nigerian is captain of Nigeria. You go here when, because these ones, they're not used. They've grown up in environments where they've told you to speak up. When you see things that don't look right, don't just accept. Why do you think Leon Balogun was shepherded out of national team? Yes, it coincided with him also losing his powers. But there's a reason these things happen. Is Amunike that now has to come and be telling Iwobi, you'll be treating them as if he's one kind of barracks regime. It don't work like that. But meanwhile, Eric Shell, very personable guy. In fact, when we were in Morocco, the first day, my brother and I, we ran into him in our lift in Marrakesh. Eric Shell, I saw him, my brain almost froze. I said, wait, what do we do? Then we tried to talk to him. He said, we spoke to him. We just said, thank you for what you're doing for the Super Eagles. We appreciate all the support. But we tried to take a picture. He said, no pictures until after the Algeria game. And we saw him again and took a picture. But if you see the way Eric Shell knows the right time to leave the players alone, the right time to talk to them, he gives them their own space. Even when we're watching the day before we played Algeria, when we're watching Morocco and Cameroon in the hotel, I saw Eric Shell on the left side watching the game on his own. He's not doing as a man, oh, hey, we are the big boys and big everybody. He knows how to treat people. Yes, it helps that he grew up in France, and he's maybe, I don't know if it helps that he's not Nigerian, but he has good personal skills. He knows how to speak to people. And he knows how to treat them with a certain level of respect, which a lot of these people don't know. Lost, the body service, I saw you enter Okada from Morocco. Now you're casting my Ajebois. Maybe that was like my second or third time I went to Okada in my life. But I love the way just beating Algeria. we were trying to get back to the hotel so we can see the players when they come in, and there was so much traffic. So that's really what that was about. Lord, Jackson, you're serious. The village is where you're from in Delta State. No way. That is crazy. Exactly, John. Okay, last one. John said 1994 was a long time ago. Respect the legends, but we gotta let them go. And you're right. I was born in 1993 and I'm turning 33 next month. So 94, that's already 32 years ago. That's a long ass time. Long ass time. And yes, we must always respect our legends. In fact, one of the things I love is the fact we have the Super Eagles 96 documentary on Prime Video. I think we need more documentaries, more audio visuals about our history. Where's the video about the 1980 triumph? Meanwhile, go and check the NFF channel to show you how useless these people are. Go and check the NFF channel. Do you know they produced this very, very well short series about the road to AFCON from 1980 to last year? But go and look at the titles and descriptions of those very valuable documentaries. Oh. If you see the nonsense titling and headlines, I was thinking to myself, a 10-year-old kid can use AI to do a better job. You have done the hard work. You have shot the players. You have gotten information. Oh, yeah, now, broadcast it the right way. Even us at Nigeria Football Weekly, out of respect for our community, we go through our titles, our headlines, check it all. Sometimes I even put A/B tests. But something as special as very important information that you can get to the diaspora and Nigerians to see what the Super Eagles means. They can't even title it properly. It's like NFF channel or something stupid like that. So let's keep accepting mediocrity and we'll be here for a while, you know. But anyway, my people, thank you so much. This has been a fantastic, fantastic live stream. Shout out to the listenership, TikTok as well, Twitch now, but of course, primarily YouTube. You guys are the reasons that, in fact, let me be brutally honest, man. I'm trying to get a new job again in my day life. So don't think it's all rosy as we're all moving up and down. You know, man must still work. So anyway, as we're going through trials and tribulations, we're also going through a lot of joyful moments, you know, and a lot of that is because of you guys. So I appreciate everybody. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for rocking with me. This community means everything. And obviously, I've thanked you guys already, so I will not do too much. But I want to say, everybody, have a wonderful Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Love and light to your family and yours and anything that matters. I hope everybody has a joyful one, regardless, you know, and just enjoy the football. And of course, on Monday, we'll be back 8 p.m. UK time. Maybe I may start 7 p.m. So it's 8 p.m. Nigeria time. I'm also exploring a world where we may maybe end up moving them to Sundays, but it's a bit too close for me to be sure about Sundays yet. So for now, I'll see you guys again on Monday, 8 p.m. my time, maybe 7 p.m. Please look out for the posts, but I promise you we'll be live. I want to say a big thank you to all 36 of you that have stayed all the way till the end. If you've not liked the video, I've not checked this time. Please do me a favor and like the video. No super chats this week, but that's okay. We appreciate the love still. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. Much appreciated. We have 28 likes, so I've added one now myself, 29. So any final few people before you leave, please just like the video, give us a thumbs up, and thank you for all the comments and for all the love. Enjoy all the football this weekend. You're very welcome, John Andre. Very welcome, Taiwo. I appreciate you all. I appreciate all 36 people still watching. God bless you all. We go again. Much love. And as they always say, Nigerian, they ever carry last, man. I'm telling you. Yeah. And Arsenal, get me lit this weekend. Let's go. Much love, people. And I'll see you on the next episode on Monday. Take care. Peace out. And ciao.